The Bears went across the pond. It wasn't a hard day's night. It was Caleb dropping diamonds from the sky. We're going to talk about it next. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of the 4-Star Chicago Sports Podcast. We are having our third consecutive River Street Bears Victory Monday. I got Crafty D, Dustin Jones in the house. I got Kyle Duplessis and Brando, the Mighty Twins. What's going on, fellas? How we doing on our third consecutive Victory Monday?
Feeling good. What up?
Feeling good. I feel as though we're starting to get the full Caleb Williams here. This week, 8 different receivers, 124.4 QB rating. He was 23 of 29, 226 through the air, 56 rushing, 282 total, and those 4 touchdowns. And, of course, more importantly, the win. Guys, Caleb Williams, to me, is turning into him. As we talked about pre-show, yes, I can go on record and say when this season started or before going all the way back to the draft, I was an advocate for trading down, keeping Fields, getting Jaden Daniels here. I can admit when I was wrong. It looks like I'm wrong. This guy has some impressive arm talent. He's starting to show athleticism that we weren't sure that he had. He's got great decision-making, pinpoint accuracy. That back corner fade to Keenan Allen was impressive, man. Like, really, really impressive.
I watched that on repeat over and over today, man. That's amazing.
That was high-grade football stuff. And then if you look at that Dallas screen, fake to the left, fake to the right, back over the middle, Cole Kmet for the touchdown. That's my favorite play of the year, boys. That was fucking awesome. Like, I was like, dude, that's the kind of playmaking I'm talking about. Pump right, pump left, vertical, right up the middle. Boom! That was amazing. Now, let me ask you this. The Bears have started to dominate with 11 personnel. It's gone up every week. Last week it was at 60. I think it was 63%. This year, the first half, the Bears were 88% 11 personnel.
It was 69% last week. It was 69%.
69.
It was the first half. Yes.
88. So I think we're kind of figuring out what our boy Waldron wants to do. My question to you guys is, do the Bears have an identity? And I already know the answer from all three of you, but is Caleb Williams really him, guys? Dustin, start us off, man.
Man. Hey, thanks to everybody for being here. Breaking News Bruce in the building. Good to see y'all tonight. Love touching base and talking Bears with you. I thought Caleb was the guy before we got him. I was on board with this. I was on board with this from the beginning. Justin Fields wasn't showing enough to me, and I wanted to make a move. And to see it starting to pay off is really cool as a Bears fan. I mean, it's really a tough subject to get into for a Bears fan because, like, there's so much past history with this where, like, and then yesterday he's the first rookie quarterback to throw for over 225 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game.
Yep.
And the last one to do it was Cade McNown. A Bears rookie who, we had very high hopes for. I remember as a kid being like, oh, this guy might awesome quarterback in the NFL playing for the Bears, and he fell off a cliff. He was awful, and that's kind of been the norm for us as Bears fans, having high expectations for guys and then being let down. Being let down, whether it's by the organization or the player, it's usually a combination of both. The one thing I'll say, man, is this organization has had a plan for Caleb from the beginning. The fruits of their labor are starting to pay off. You can see it, and they've stuck with it, man. So it's great. It's great collaboration of the organization who drafted him, the coaching staff that the organization put in place to develop him, and then the players on the field stepping up in the roles that they have to complement Caleb's talents. It's a beautiful thing to see as a Bears fan. We've never seen this before, guys. Enjoy it. I want to say to all the people that have been hating on Caleb this whole season so far, talking about so quick to talk when he's on a downslide, what do you have to say now? Caleb just threw 4 touchdowns, guys. Caleb threw 4 touchdowns on 29 pass attempts. Caleb is thrown for over 300 yards twice. Caleb is winning games with his arm talent. I would love to hear what if we got a Judah tribe in the building who's been calling for Tyson and David to get the start over Caleb Williams, because the Bears would be a better team. Like, I would love to hear what those people have to say now, man. I'm stoked. I'm excited. That's the biggest story of this game is, Caleb was the right choice. That's what it feels like right now. I know it's a long season, but let's feel good about this, Chicago.
Yeah. How you feeling after Sunday, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, every Bears fan should be excited about Caleb Williams. He just picked up where he left off last week. Caleb Williams, I think, had another great game. But to me, that's not the biggest story of this game. I mean, guys, the Bears ran the ball. I mean, they didn't just run the ball. They did it with ease. And, that's not like – obviously, Bill's not a very formidable opponent, but they were good at stopping the run when they came in here. They were ranked 8th in the NFL. And DeAndre Swift had a really good game. Again, DeAndre Swift now has 3 games in a row over 100 yards, all-purpose yards. He is obviously the key to this offense. Obviously, we expected kind of a little bit of the opposite. We expected guys like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen to go off because Jacksonville was ranked number 32 in passing yards allowed. But DJ Moore had a very quiet game. What it says to me is that the Bears are finding a way to win games no matter what the opponent throws at them. I mean, they're adjusting. They're making adjustments in the middle of the game. And this is the team that we kind of expected to see in the beginning of the season when Ryan Poles put this roster together. We've heard a lot of people talk about Ryan Poles. I know he made this trade, he made that trade, Chase Claypool, blah, 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 blah. Guys, you don't even have to talk about the roster. Let's talk about the culture. I mean, the culture is changing, guys. This is a winning culture. The Bears are not just winning games they're supposed to win. They're beating the crap out of these teams. And we've watched the Bears, even in years past with Lovie Smith, when we had good Bears teams to watch. They played down to their competition a lot. We watched it many a time where they would go beat the crap out of a really good team and then go play a really poor team wasn't playing well the next week, and they win by 2-3 points. This is not the same team. These guys are different, man. There's a winning culture in that locker room. You could tell that these guys all love each other. They're playing hard for each other. I hate to say it. I know Dustin and Sean are a big fan of him, but they're playing hard for Matt Eberflus. Obviously, he's getting better at each game he coaches in the NFL.
Really good vibes. Really good vibes.
Yep. Shane Waldron has looked better every single game since the beginning of the season. This game was kind of strange to me. It just didn't play out the way I expected to play out. I was afraid that Jacksonville could run the ball and control the time of possession, which they did in the first quarter. I mean, they didn't really run the ball, but they were doing those short dump-off passes because the Bears committed to stopping the run. And they were walk down the field, and they did it, and they took a big chunk of the clock doing it. And then Gabe Davis drops that touchdown, and they kick a field goal. And after that, it was pretty much all Bears, right? I mean, you could just tell this is a different vibe than years past. I think this team is going to be championship worthy by as early as next season. They have another 8 draft picks in the draft next year. They can address the offensive line. They can add another defensive lineman. Obviously, Ryan Poles has already started to build the depth in this team because you could tell the secondary. I mean, they weren't as good as they normally are, but it's not like there was some huge drop off from losing Jaquan Brisker and Tyreek Stevenson and Kyler Gordon left in that game, which stinks because Kyler Gordon, talking about the Bears stopping the run this week, Kyler Gordon was probably the sole reason that they were, because he was amazing in that game. Kyler Gordon probably had his best first quarter of any game I've ever seen him play. I mean, he had 2 tackles for loss in the first quarter. He was running into the middle of the pile where all those big men are, and it's easy for little guys to get hurt. No fear, didn't care, got in the backfield time and time again. I mean, overall, just a great win for the Bears. And once again, man, it's next week's another. I mean, they're off next week, but then they have Washington after that. It's another week. But man, this Bears team's they're tough to beat.
What you think, Brando?
I think we have a franchise quarterback, guys.
Oh yeah.
It feels weird to even say it, but I think that is the reality. That's what we're watching, and I don't want to hear anything about what teams. Well, first off, the Justin Fields Caleb Williams conversation is over. That's dead in the water. If you're one of those people who advocated this, hang it up, admit you were wrong, move on. You can still bring the Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams all you want, but the Justin Fields thing is over. He just had 145 yards on 19 completions against the Raiders, guys. Against
What's
the
up,
Raiders with no touchdowns, by the way, too.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Oh, but
2 rushing touchdowns. The Steelers won. The Steelers
That-
won. So I mean, there's that. But it's in terms of being
that
a quarterback,
conversation's
yeah.
over, dude. That conversation's
I would
over.
love for it to be, but it's not. But go ahead, sir.
I was impressed, guys, by everybody from Ryan Poles all the way down to, well, Cole Kmet, the long snapper. And I'm impressed with the fact that Shane Waldron's progressed yet again, guys. We have another piece that Ryan Poles signed for a specific role. That is a third and fourth down receiver and a goal to go guy. That's exactly how Keenan Allen was used. He made a big play on fourth down. He had
Third down.
two touchdowns inside the red zone. This is who Keenan Allen's supposed to be. This is exactly why Ryan Poles brought him to this team. But like Kyle said, a testament to Ryan Poles is depth. Guys, every year depth becomes more important in the NFL, not just because of injuries, but because you want to give guys a break. You want to use every player on your roster. That one-handed catch that Roshan Johnson made to get that first down, I mean, I thought that pass was
He
sailed.
overthrew it.
Yeah, that was a bad pass.
He tipped it to himself. I mean, every player on this roster is being utilized. We even got 2 touchdowns out of the long snapper. That's how well a job that Shane Waldron is doing. But no, Matt Eberflus, guys, I think is doing a great job. I really do believe that. This guy has caught grief from every angle. And again, we can separate the defensive coordinator from the head coach, but I'm starting to see things that a head coach influences coming to fruition on this team.
2
That's
penalties on Sunday, Brandon. Only 2 penalties.
Yeah,
he's
Cleaned up a little bit.
He's fixing, and then he had interviewed today on Cap and Hood guys, and they were asking questions about what he's going to do with his daughter and his wife over the bye week and how he gets to unwind. And he said, bye week isn't a break in an NFL season. He said it's only 18 weeks. You don't get a break. There's no break.
Yeah.
He said my coaches are in the building today. They'll be in the building tomorrow. They have half a day Wednesday, and they get a weekend. That's it.
Dano,
and he said,
what up?
And he said, I'm going to go see my daughter in college and spend an afternoon with her. But he said, I still will not stop thinking about how to make this team improve. Really encouraging words to hear from your head coach. But yeah, the Bears have a franchise quarterback, guys. And I don't care, pitch me whatever opponents they play. And I want to say this too. Talk about progression. You want to tell me how bad this Jaguars team is? And they are bad. And I had the Bears beating this team by 18 points. Dustin Hurd in the bare minimum. I had them beating this team by 18 points. They won by 19. Didn't surprise me at all.
Had them by 14.
They did not play a bad pass rush. They
I mean,
did not
the
play
Jaguars,
a bad unit up front. And the
Jaguars-
offense, so you can say they played a bad Jaguars team. The offensive line, guys, stopped. I mean, there was 3 sacks, but Caleb held the ball a little longer than he probably should have. But
Yeah.
Joshua Hines-Allen and Tavon Walker can destroy a game. Both those guys are capable of doing so.
Eric Armstead too.
Armstead as well, a double-digit sack guy over his career. So the
it was
Bears,
four sacks.
Bears did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, the Bears
Making sure, guys, this team is 2-9 over their last 11 games. The Jaguars hold the worst record in the NFL, tied with only one other team dating back to December 3rd last year. That's the Carolina Panthers. The Bears have played the 2 worst teams in football over that stretch in the last 2 weeks, but they did it the way they were supposed to. Let's be honest. This is 3 games in a row. I don't care who they played. A year ago, this wouldn't have happened. The Bears lose one of these games. A year ago, the Bears lose one of these football
with the improvements that they've made, we were expecting this though. So this is what we should have expected for them to beat up on bad teams.
I was going to say, Brandon, last year when they played Carolina, that was a 16-13 dreadful football game that we had to sit through, and they beat the brakes off them 2 weeks ago.
And last year, I would have been very curious to see if they'd beaten the Jaguars or not.
Yeah.
But they're beating bad teams, but they're beating them handedly like good football teams do. There's no question, based on the opponents the Bears have played, that does not alter my view of what the Bears are becoming at all. I think the Bears are using, this is the way the schedule was built for the Bears, guys. They don't dictate it. They don't choose it. They were given all the bad teams first, and then the tough games second. And they're doing exactly what a good football team with good coaches would do. They're getting better week by week while also depleting these nobodies, man. And I'm sorry, but that's what Jacksonville's become. Me and Dustin called Doug Peterson's termination this week. It might not be this week. It's next week.
Well, you guys, they wouldn't fire him when he was in London. He's still in London.
That's the message I would. That's the message I would send to my football team.
Send him home and coach.
I'd fire him now.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you guys heard.
You could talk about how good the Bears were in this game. Jacksonville did a lot to beat themselves too.
Some of the statements made
by do that every week.
Some of the statements made by players
were drop touchdowns.
Did you guys listen to any of the Jaguars post-game interviews? I mean, it was all, we're a better football team that can give more. It just ain't working. That's a player saying, somebody else could probably be
And
running
Doug
the show.
Peterson in his press conference was like, "We got to change the culture. We got to do these things." And it's like,
Yeah, we
dude,
got to work.
you're
harder.
in control of all of that. So
No,
like,
you guys, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but the
we
Jaguars
can
made
change that, Doug.
they made a pretty big trade today. So I think they're pretty much in tear it down mode here. So I think when he gets back from London, they're going to fire him.
Who'd
Oh, yeah, he's done.
they trade, Kyle?
They traded Roy Robertson Harris to the Saints.
Oh,
But we also, me and
I did
Dustin
not see
also,
that.
Or no,
Dustin
not to
did
the
also
Saints. I
mention
apologize.
some-
They traded him to the Seahawks, not the Saints. Seahawks.
Interesting.
when the Bears do reach this interdivisional play, me and Dustin mentioned something on the bare minimum that does concern me, guys. Evan Ingram went off. And you're going to play some better tight ends than Evan Ingram, although I do believe he is one of the league's best. So that's the one place where I thought the Bears kind of
Yeah,
got
but
exposed.
that's because
also were missing-
they were dropping them back down to the safeties because the linebackers were stopping the run. You'd rather see them stop the run, right?
Oh, while
they
we're on
shut the
that
run
subject,
down.
though, guys, while we were talking about my how impressed I was with Ryan Poles and the depth of this team because the secondary played well enough to win, even without, well, really, Kyle Gordon went out without three players, but another really good fucking signing in Kevin Byard, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
And a
that guy,
great pass breakup in the end zone. That was beautiful, man.
flawless football by a guy who was kind of back there on his own, to be honest. But I don't think Elijah Hicks is a very good player. I thought Jalen Jones played well enough. I don't want to see any of those guys again. The health is a major concern for me, guys. You've got your long snapper
Guys,
and three
Jalen
DBs.
Jones is the shit.
Jalen Jones was their worst player on the field.
Jalen Jones, he wasn't the worst player. He was the fourth worst player
But
on the
He
Bears.
had a bad
The
game.
Bears,
Rated by PFF.
the Bears
Guys, we
need this.
talked about this with since we're talking about it, we'll just bring it up. I don't know.
Well, I was going to get into that really quick.
The Bears
that's
need
why I
this
make the
bye
point.
week.
If we're going to talk about Jalen Jones, I mean, if he's in that role that Tyreek Stevenson was in, like that's a hard job in this Bears
Well,
defense.
this was a different
Jalen
role,
Johnson.
guys. They were Jalen Jones was getting matched up on Evan Ingram a lot.
Yeah,
He
and
was
that's a
destroying
problem.
him.
That's a problem matchup for a guy Jalen Jones' size.
So you guys, I don't think any other player with between tackles and tackle assists, I don't think any other player on the Bears had more than 12. Jalen Jones had 20, and that's not good.
The reality is, though, guys, they snuck out of this Jaguars game. They cannot move forward without Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. You want to keep a close eye on that over the bye week. They need those guys back.
I think we got a long time, and this long break. I think Briscoe will be back. I think Stevenson will be back. These were probably precautionary moves. The concussion for Briscoe.
Gordon looked severe.
Gordon does not look good. I was just going to say that.
Hamstrings
Gordon does not look good.
Hamstrings linger, guys. The hamstring.
Yeah, and if we're going to have that conversation, we need to start talking about Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon and their injuries because this is becoming a pattern.
Really quick, because I wanted to get into the depth. I wanted to throw a quick nugget at you before we get off the offense. I don't know if you guys heard this. I'm sure you guys did, but it's been 68 years since the Bears have had back-to-back weeks where they scored 5 offensive touchdowns. That was in 1956. That was per stat head. That just tells me Caleb has landed, folks. We got ourselves.
And guys, on top of our franchise quarterback, this was the best game Shane Waldron's called as the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator. The play that he threw the interception. How beautiful was that?
That was Caleb's fault. That was
How
Caleb's
beautiful
fault.
was that play call? They put the jumbo package
no one
out
was
there.
expecting that.
Yeah.
None of us were expecting that.
Shane Waldron himself would have bet he was going to run the ball on that play.
I didn't expect it either.
Just beautiful play call.
I mean,
man.
the one that Sean was talking about where Devin Lloyd is running around like a dog chasing his tail from the misdirection, man.
Yeah.
And just to the seam pass to Cole Kmet, like the play design on that.
Well, they faked it to Keenan Allen, then they faked it to DeAndre Swift, and they both linebackers bid on those, and then right down the middle of Cole Kmet.
Devin Lloyd was defeated. He jogged after that play after Cole Kmet caught it. That was.
I have a question here. When does Cole Kmet get the respect of being a top 5 tight end?
Well, here, Sean, we're going to talk about Cole Kmet
later
on the show. Bernard, do you want to refer to Zach's comment here? Is that what you're about?
Yeah, you said that throw to Allen where he motions him and against the linebacker, which he did. He brought Keenan Allen and said, "Dude, guys, Caleb Williams before the snap is just blowing my mind." But that throw to Caleb where he motions him against the linebacker and puts the ball exactly where it has to be was unbelievable. I think he's referring to the 4th down catch.
No, he's talking about the touchdown.
He's talking about the touchdown.
The first touchdown.
The one me and Sean were talking about.
The first touchdown. Yeah,
first
that's
touchdown.
guys. I want to say, regardless of if you're a Justin Fields guy, that's fine. But like, you want to talk. If I bring up Caleb Williams to you, and your defense to me is your rebuttal is that he plays bad teams. I don't give a shit who he's playing. That pass to Keenan Allen on the first touchdown in between two defenders, both closing in on
Back
Keenan
That was
Allen.
amazing.
You have to have balls to make that pass in the NFL. It's a pass Justin Fields would never
Yeah,
have
you guys,
dared
let's not.
to.
Who cares about Justin Fields? Right? I mean, he's gone. He's the Steelers quarterback now. Brendan, there's a
No,
happy
but this
medium.
stuff still goes on.
There's a happy medium with Justin Fields. You're talking about the fans who are like extremists, like Justin Fields is the best guy. Like, obviously those guys, but people who said he would win if he had a good team with good coach. I mean, he's winning. Justin Fields is winning football games. So I mean, you could both the argument go a
Ryan
million
Poles
different
said it
ways.
best.
But he's
Go a
not
million
winning
different
football
Ryan-
games doing
no,
what Caleb Williams is
Ryan
doing.
Poles said it best.
He's
You
not
can
doing
win
what Caleb
with
does.
Justin
That-
Fields.
that's not- yes,
You won't win because of him.
yes, and that's what I think some
And
fans are
that's
just
not a good quarterback.
moderate Justin Fields
Kyle, we
fans.
just
They
talked
like the
about
guy
quarterbacks.
personally,
You
and they're
don't
like,
like
"Hey,
Jordan
with a
Love or
good
Dak
coach."
Prescott. This guy sucks. He sucks. He's
Yeah,
a
he can't do what Caleb
sucky
does.
You
quarterback.
guys,
He sucks.
once again, I'm not comparing Caleb Williams to Justin Fields, but a guy who's 4-2 in the NFL doesn't suck. It's that simple, guys. If he sucks, he'd be.
I
Then
think he
Russell
does.
Wilson will be playing, guys.
Kyle, on a team that
That's-
hasn't had a losing record in 17 years.
Yeah, so you just got to put him in the right system. That's what people have been saying.
Yeah,
about
a
Justin
system that
Fields for a
doesn't
long time.
lose. That's the system you put Justin Fields in to succeed. One that doesn't lose.
Brennan, there's
That's what you
100 different arguments with Caleb Williams. People all over the place. People said trade back to number 2, draft Jaden Daniels, get 2 more
And those
first round
people
picks.
look really
Yeah,
stupid
there's-
right now.
No, the Jaden Daniels looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah, no,
He
Jaden
looks
Daniels
pretty
is
good.
pretty good.
Caleb's
Nobody
winning
looks
rookie of the
stupid.
year. Plus,
Nobody-
which by the way, I had a conversation with a guy at work who literally likes Jaden Daniels, and he's a Patriots fan. He loves Drake May. Who do you think of the 3 quarterbacks? Which, by the way, guys, looks like it might be the best quarterback draft ever, besides maybe Kelly, Marino, and Elway. But
There's a couple others. We'll talk about
Yeah,
that a little bit
you're
later
missing
in
a
the show,
couple there.
Brandon.
who do you think has the
Jordan Love was
shortest
the last pick of the
career
first
of these
round.
quarterbacks?
What's that?
Who do you think has the shortest
Dude, that's
duration
impossible to predict.
tenure in the NFL?
It's impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
if you
gonna
had to
say
bet
it, but
on
I'm gonna say it based on what I've seen, but you're not gonna like it. It might be Bo Nix, man. I'm starting to
Yeah,
see.
he's
I'm
been
talking about the
consistent.
3 good quarterbacks. I'm not. I just,
Oh. I thought you were talking about the quarterbacks
Bo Nix
drafted in the
sucks.
first round of this draft.
I mean,
Bo Nix
no,
sucks.
Jaden
Welcome to the
Daniels-
NFL 4-star sports. Talk.
Jaden Daniels ran an option route in the red zone against the Ravens yesterday where he got obliterated. That was scary watching him get hit so hard. If
Yeah,
I was going to bet, I would bet on that. But I don't really. That's not. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
love
rooting
seeing
for-
these
I
rookie
hope none of them
quarterbacks
get hurt.
performing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hope they all
lucky us.
perform
Lucky us.
well.
What a luxury
Yeah,
we
but
get to
the
watch all
question
3 of
with
these
the
guys.
And we get to watch
Why
them
I
play
said
each
it-
other in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but
Jaden
Justin,
Daniels
you
and
might
Caleb
not.
Williams.
You
really
guys
quick,
might
I'll
not
give you
care
an
about that, but
overlay.
that's important. It's important to have a quarterback for the next 20 years, not the next 5.
Yeah, but when you start talking about
Exactly.
injury, Brandon, you're gonna bring in a lot of factors that you can't control. Caleb Williams could get hurt just standing in the
Who do you
pocket.
think? Who do you think
You
is
don't know.
better? Who do you think is better long term, Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels?
I don't understand why you guys care.
Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this draft, guys. That's
Because I'm
my-
tired of hearing Ryan Poles made the wrong pick.
No,
That's right.
Ryan Poles
You
made
know
the
what?
right
I
pick.
don't-
for the
I
It's
don't-
Chicago
idiotic.
Bears. He
It's
did.
stupidity.
Can I
to even
say
say
And
this?
it's working. It's paying off. We're seeing.
Kyle,
it.
I
That's
believe
what
you just said this. I don't really think it matters. I think we should be happy as fans, as the NFL is, that we have these 2 amazing talents in this league, and we get to enjoy them for the next decade.
Yes.
Hopefully
And it's
playing
not.
each
There's
other.
no argument, you
NFC
guys. There's no.
championship.
This isn't Caleb
That's
versus
a
Jaden.
blessing.
I can
No,
tell you guys.
I
I can tell you guys
Hey,
right now.
Kyle. Hey,
I
Kyle.
can tell you
in
guys
2
right now
weeks-
for a fact.
Hey, Kyle, in
Washington
2
Commanders
weeks-
fans are not sitting on their couch pouting that they don't have Caleb Williams.
God
That's
damn
what I'm
right.
telling you. I'm
In
telling you
2
that right
weeks-
now for a fact,
In
Brandon.
2 weeks, it is. Caleb
I'm not
In 2
counting
weeks,
that I don't
it-
have Jaden Daniels though either.
In 2
It
weeks,
is Caleb versus
in 2
Jaden.
weeks,
Shouldn't be.
Brandon.
Exactly.
In 2 weeks, it matters.
Nobody cares.
After that, it doesn't matter unless we're playing Washington in a
In
playoff.
5 years, you won't be talking
Honestly,
about
it
Jaden
doesn't-
Daniels versus Caleb
Hey
Williams.
guys,
No,
I
he
like what
won't,
Dan
because he'll
says
be
here.
injured.
Dano says both can be great. Thank God we have.
I
one
agree
of
with
them.
Dan.
I agree 100%.
But both
I
awesome
think.
quarterbacks. Both fun to watch.
I think
Great football.
personally.
Great television.
Personally, I think there was 3 good quarterbacks, and I think Drake May is going to be a hell of a player, man. Good God, Patriots
Here,
had 2
and
passing
can I
touchdowns
say-
before Sunday.
Wait till
wanted
you
to talk
I
about
think
That
this
Michael
is a
a
Penix,
little bit.
talentless team.
Michael Penix is going to be good too.
I
Drake
wanted
May's
to
gonna
talk
have a
about
rough
this a
time
little bit
against the
later
Bears.
between Jaden and Caleb, and I will say this, and
I feel better about Brissett.
Jaden Daniels has his limitations. If you watch him, he throws exclusively to the right side of the field. He has a very hard time going to his left. What Caleb Williams is doing is running a very advanced offense in the NFL.
Well,
and he's doing
hold
it
on,
very
too.
well.
I watched a
I
whole
don't think-
Jaden Daniels game.
This is the Brandon
Jaden
part.
Daniels calls whatever
Jaden Daniels made some fucking awesome throws
No,
against
I know. No, he does.
third and fourth and long, dude, against the
I'm
Ravens.
not taking. I'm not taking.
He has a
listen,
pinpoint accuracy. He was very good.
Okay.
He
Whatever
was.
Kingsbury calls is what he's calling on the field.
Of course.
That's
It's
what
gonna
I
be
just
no
said.
difference. It's
That's
not
what
going
I
to be changed
just
at the line.
said.
It's not going to be changed at the line. It's not going to be altered. It's not going to be audibled. It's going to be what it's called. We have a quarterback who's smarter than the guy who's playing.
Yeah,
for
that's
us.
what Sean was saying. Yeah.
That's what I was just trying
That was
to
my
convey.
point 2 weeks ago
Guys,
when
who
it blew up.
cares? We didn't draft him. The Bears did. We had nothing to do with the decision.
Well,
So
let's
we
talk
can't
about
sit here
things
and
we
boast
fucking
about
disagree
Caleb
on.
Williams being the
My
Bears
point where I
quarterback.
was
Let's
going
just keep
with
talking about
this,
things we all agree on all the time.
Listen,
Come
my
on.
point where I was
Brandon,
going with
Caleb
this-
has more his limitations than Caleb Williams looks goofy when he's running the ball. He does, man. He looks awkward. He looks clumsy.
He doesn't want
Jaden
to
Daniels
run
does not. He does not
When
look
he got
clumsy.
tripped up, when Caleb got tripped up yesterday and landed
he looks
flat on his
yeah,
ass.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if he touched him. I don't
He
think
looked
he ever
like a
touched
baby
him.
deer.
I don't
No,
think
he
he ever
got the
touched
top
Caleb
of
in
his
that
shoe. He got the top of his shoe.
that looks
for sure.
very, very, very. If he touched him, he touched him by like the tip of his pinky. rubbed
That's not
against
how
the
you
neck.
want to go down a slip
I'm
and
gonna
slide.
throw this
Caleb.
out there. I'm gonna throw this out there live,
Ass
guys.
first.
I'm gonna throw this out there live. We're gonna do something fun. $5 to all three of you
We'll see.
for
if it's
Caleb
fun.
winning Rookie of the Year.
if you would let me finish,
Nobody's.
if you would let me finish, you would understand why this bet for me would be null and void. Because I said one is running an advanced offense, one is running a glorified high school offense. He's doing a very
I
good
don't know
job
if I
with
agree
it.
with that.
Caleb Williams is very much advanced. He should be in the lead for Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, right now,
So do- I
regardless
agree.
of what the teams
I
are
agree,
doing.
100%. I
I'll
agree.
tell you what, guys, that head-to-head matchup's gonna have a lot to say about this.
It's going to be amazing.
a lot of fun,
It's
guys.
gonna be
I'm
amazing.
excited.
Hey, you guys want to get
think-
together for a game?
see you
Come
guys-
over
see you
Sunday.
guys
We'll watch
think
this
that?
game together.
I think Jaden Daniels is going to have his first rude awakening against the defense that's just hurting people literally. Literally
it's not like
injuring
Jaden
people on
Daniels-
the field.
Dude, Baltimore is great against the run. Jaden Daniels
Baltimore's
had no
defense
run
is
game
terrible, Dustin.
Baltimore's defense is the best in the league against the run, Brandon.
Yeah,
so he had
that's
no
doing
run
him.
game yesterday. He had
Dustin,
no
it's,
run game.
it's,
He
Dustin,
also
it's,
had no
it's the
Brian
best.
Robinson
It's the best
Jr.
it's the best in the last 25 years. Against
Yeah,
the run.
it's insane how good they are against the run. So,
And he
so
also had no Brian
I don't know. I don't know. What, so what,
50,
what are you
58
saying?
rushing yards
that
allowed
if,
per
if
game.
the defense knows you're one-dimensional and you're still able to throw on them the way Jaden Daniels did yesterday, that is a feat for Jaden Daniels. I'm just saying Jaden Daniels has played against good defenses. We've seen it now, and he's performed. So I don't know that it's going
That
to be a
Ravens
cakewalk for this
secondary
Bears
is
defense.
trash, bro. You're
Hey, by the
watching a
way-
different
They're very
game
By
bad.
the way,
Yes.
give
They're very
me
bad.
the only quarterback
They're
perfect
the
on
second
fourth
worst in
down
the league.
conversions this year. The only quarterback perfect on fourth down
That's
conversions.
Jaden Daniels, 10 of 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah. it's,
On
it's
what?
pretty damn on fourth down conversions.
Isn't
Fourth down
Caleb
I
conversions.
like
think it's
9
9
of
of 9
10?
unless he completed one that I missed yesterday. But
He had one yesterday, but listen.
so
It's
he could be
going
10
to be
10 now. It's right in
going
there
to-
though.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch these two do battle. I hope that we
God.
get to see them both airing it out down the field. I do think the Bears defense is the best unit in that football game. So we'll see how that goes. This isn't a preview game for that. We are looking forward to see how we think this is going to play out. But how it just went yesterday, guys, with this Bears. Sean, where do you stand with because Brandon brought it up, the combined record of the teams that the Bears have beaten this year is 4-16. Where do you stand with that? How do you think about that? And you're talking about your team. Do you try to keep it in perspective? Like, okay, so they still got to get better, or are you saying, hey, you got to play who you got to play? That they're in front of you. It is what it is. Are the Bears a good team, or do we knock them down a peg because of how bad the record is?
Real quick, you could also throw Indy in there too, guys. The team they lost to, they do not have a good record either. They would make that record look a lot worse as well.
They're 3-3. Indy's 3-3.
Yeah. So
Indy's
do what?
3-3. I mean, they're
So,
having a
no, it's 7 and what 16.
Wait. What's the collective win totals of the teams that the Commanders have played?
The
4-2 now after yesterday.
If this was a Washington Commanders podcast, I might have that information.
The Giants.
But it's not. Brandon.
So Jaden Daniels has lost to the Buccaneers and the Ravens, two teams with winning records.
4-2 and 4-2, right? Both of those teams are 4-2.
He beat the Browns, Cardinals, Bengals, and Giants.
Hey, Brandon, to be
Brandon,
fair,
you sound like
the Bears have lost to a team at 500 and a team with a winning record.
Vernon, you sound
So-
like you don't like Jaden Daniels. Like we just are like, hey, they're both good. They'll be fun to watch for the next 10 years. You sound
Well,
like you
here,
adamantly do not like
No,
Jaden Daniels.
I-
Like you
I
think he's a
texted
bad
you
player,
Hold
a
on.
bad person.
I texted
Like-
you guys all off season that I was texting you he was going to win a Heisman when he was, but I love Jaden Daniels. My point is the Bears took the right guy
The
because
Bears
in
made the right
two- in
decision.
2
There's no
in 3
argument
weeks
here.
from now or 2 weeks from now, when you see Jaden Daniels play this defense, you're going to be like, I think I'm glad with Caleb being on the Bears.
I
That's
like
why-
this comment from Zach Lipsy because that's kind of how I looked
I'd
at
like-
it going into this draft. I mentioned this in the offseason leading into the draft. Caleb and Jaden reminds me of Luck and RG3. I felt like Caleb was Luck in this draft and Jaden was RG3. The high risk for injury with Jaden, but like the really high potential for big plays, explosive plays. And RG3 came out on fire his rookie season, but that really started to take a step back. And Andrew Luck stayed consistent and he stayed solid and he made the right
That's
plays.
why I'm asking you, once the defense figures this out, which quarterback has better
Vernon, what
long-term answer?
defense? What good defense have you seen Caleb Williams play? Do you tell me the best defense he's played this year?
The
He played
Tennessee
Tennessee.
Titans.
He played Tennessee
What I'm
Titans.
asking
You want to know how
what I'm
Caleb
asking
Williams
you-
looked
what
against
I'm-
that team?
Kyle,
Not
what I'm
good.
asking you is which
The Texans are
quarterback-
solid too. The Texans are
which-
solid.
Which
They're
quarterback
leaky.
would
They're
you?
leaky.
And we
They
lost.
can be. They can be.
Which quarterback would you rather have against a good defense?
I'd rather have Caleb Williams, but that's what I'm saying, Bern. It doesn't matter. The
It
point of the
doesn't
fact is
matter.
the Washington Commanders didn't have a chance to select Caleb Williams, so they didn't make the wrong pick. They made the right pick. Everybody
Zach.
made the right pick.
I
Everybody
was
should be
definitely-
rewarded.
Touchdown.
Good job, Washington. Good job, Chicago. Good job, New England. Good job,
Can
all
I-
you guys. You
okay,
did exactly
okay,
what you
I was
should have
definitely on
done
that, Zach.
by
I
every
agree.
I'm
expert in the world.
I'm gonna reel this in. I'm gonna
Who's
get back
the
to Dustin's
Commanders?
question.
Who's the Commanders quarterback if they're the first overall pick in the draft?
Caleb Williams. And the Bears have Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
Neither of us
No,
are
the
complaining.
Commanders would have taken Caleb Williams, no doubt.
Yes.
Whoever
All
had
right.
number one pick. was taking Caleb Williams.
Let's get back to your question. Dustin.
What do you
Yes,
of
let's do
course.
that, Sean. Let's do that.
Yeah. What do I think about the Bears playing the 31st, 32nd, and
30th, the worst defenses in the fucking league.
I think it's good news for us because the next three opponents are 28, 27, and 25.
This is an epic run against terrible defense.
Yes,
I
it
can't
gets
wait.
a little bit tougher, but this
But
is
not much.
perfect because he's getting his feet wet. He's learning the playbook, and I think as the schedule gets tougher, after we get through Arizona, Washington, New England, we step into that team up north and the Queens and the Lions. I think he's going to be a lot more prepared. So
Sean, to your point,
Listen,
Sean, you made this point on the CSP podcast. Remember when you said on the CSP podcast when people were like, "I want to see the Bears against the Packers week 1. I want to see the Bears play the Chiefs week 1," and you were like, "No, you want to see them play a bunch of tomato cans so Caleb Williams can
Who
learn
said I want to see
and
the Bears
progress."
play the Packers week 1?
Bernie
No.
tracks Hyatt.
Yeah, no, we were all kind of in that same boat where this schedule looked like it was setting up to be perfect for a rookie quarterback to come in and play some really bad defenses, get his legs under him, get used to the NFL, and then be ready for a stretch run that starts November 17th versus the Packers. Then they're versus the Vikings. Then they're at the Lions. Then they're at San Francisco. Then they're back at Minnesota versus the Lions again. Versus Seattle at Green Bay. That's a killer stretch, guys.
Yeah,
The Bears need to take advantage of these bad teams.
Yeah,
now.
I said the Bears need to be 7-2.
That's
Bears
stretch
need to
right
be
there.
7-2 going into that stretch.
That's
That's where I had them at as well, Brandon.
That's
Per
8
playoff.
games. You got to be 4-4 in that stretch. That's 8 games. If you can finish off this stretch.
No, you could be.
And if they're 4-4, then they've
if
been
you go
11
into that
games.
stretch 7-2,
Exactly.
you could be 3-5.
Yes, that's where I have them at 11 games. Yep.
If you go into that game at 7-2,
Darius, what up?
you can
Darius.
be 3-5. What's up, Darius?
Well, 3-5 puts you at 10 wins. It's a little harder, but there's a 9-7 team is going to get into the playoffs, guys. It's just really I don't want to take. Yeah, a 9-8 team might make the playoffs in that.
Well, here, let me answer Dustin's question.
Please.
My answer to that question would be like, what do you think about the Bears beating these teams that are absolutely just horde football teams? Some of them
Combined
probably
4
don't
and
even belong in
16.
the NFL. Yes. I mean, what I'd say is Bears fans have a little bit of reservation. That's all. I mean, all you can do is play the schedule that's put in front of you. But right now, if you guys admitted it today, this would be a totally different conversation we'd be having week 5 if they started against Packers, Vikings, and we were 2-4. But then the second half of the season, they won 7 in a row. It's all about timing, right? Like, of course they look good right now because they're playing dog shit.
But if you guys
come
believe,
the end of the season, they're probably going to look a little bit different.
If you believe Jordan Love's a below average quarterback, so what do you think is going to happen in the Bears?
Nobody ever said that Jordan Love was a below average quarterback, Brennan. Nobody in this podcast has ever said that. I've never said anybody say in the comments.
I said I believed he was an average quarterback. I did not say
like
below.
Brennan. That's like me saying to you right now. Well, Brennan, if you think Jay Daniels is the worst quarterback in the NFL,
quarterback, where do you think the Bears beat the Packers 2 games?
The Packers are a good team. This NFC North is a good division, guys. It's insane how good this division is.
Here, I'm going to tell you this right now. And here, I put this up in here so we can take a look at how good this division is.
Yes, let's get some stats for frame of reference.
On the bottom here, if I can find the overlays or the I'm in the wrong section here. Currently, the 4th highest point differentials in the league live in the NFC North.
The top 4.
This division is freaking nuts, man. The overall record is 17-5. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This sets up when we get into Green Bay, and Brandon, you want to talk about Jordan Love. If the Bears play really good defense, a guy who has 6 interceptions in 4 games this year, I think he's going to be set up by the Bears defense to get some
Bears will love that game.
On that NFC North record, that NFC North record is the best divisional record through 6 weeks since they realigned the divisions.
Yes.
Since
I did not know that.
In the history of divisional football, yes, they are.
Yes.
This is the best. And we talked about this before the season started. We all picked the NFC North to be the best division of football. They've held true. They've not
disappointed. No.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be the best division of football with Minnesota being a below 500
I thought
team.
Minnesota was going to be fucking good, and they fucking are.
Well,
I did not.
Knowing Burnham, he probably thought they would be 5-0, and the Packers would be 4-2, and the Bears would be knew everything.
I thought the Packers would be around 4-2.
But
go ahead.
Right now, you're gonna get to know who the Bears are when they get into the stretch that Dustin's talking about.
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna know who Caleb Williams is. That's when you're gonna know who the Bears are. This is awesome. This is fun to watch. This is great. I love talking about it. But you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's not even just their secondary and how easy they are to pass on. The Caleb Williams had such a great day. I mean, they're literally ranked the last secondary in football in passing yards allowed. I mean, you'd have to pretty much be a terrible quarterback not to go in there and destroy them. But it's not just that, man.
They're last in red zone scoring percentage.
The team as a whole is absolutely just garbage.
Bad.
I mean, the drop touchdowns against the Bears. If Christian Kirk catches the one off his face mask, that's a touchdown. If Gabe Davis drops the first one on the first drive of the game, that's a touchdown. If Brian Thomas drops that pass that was perfectly placed in his hands, 40 yards downfield by Trevor Lawrence, over the shoulder against good coverage.
That was Jalen Johnson. That was
guys, real quick.
McCoy,
everybody, like, subscribe, share with a friend, please. Thank you for joining us. Keep the comments coming. If you guys ask a question, we'll answer it. We'll keep you involved. Okay. Thank you.
I said to Sean last week. Eventually, they're going to play a team that has Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, or they are just they have good receivers, not people who drop 4 touchdowns in one game. They're going to score those touchdowns that the Jaguars should have scored, and then you're going to see what the Bears are made of. Then when it's 35 with 2 minutes left, then you're going to see what the Chicago Bears are made of.
What was your game predictions against Jacksonville?
I said 24-20.
I had 28-14. Chicago, obviously.
And if the Jaguars catch those touchdowns, which they should, they're paid millions of dollars to do that. It's a much closer game. 35-31. You're acting like the Jaguars.
Shoulda, coulda. But the Bears shit out of them.
Those 4 touchdown passes. It's 35-31.
Yeah, but that's what the Jaguars do.
Yeah, but you guys are talking. As if they didn't move the ball. They did. They did actually. You know,
I'm talking as if
we had more passing yards. Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence. Who had more passing yards? Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had more passing yards. He moved the ball better than Caleb Williams. He just wasn't rewarded because his receivers are absolute dog shit and don't deserve to play in the NFL. Actually, we could talk about it on this podcast right now how I feel watching that game. I do not watch the Jaguars. I watch this Bears game. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence because that guy gets destroyed by this national media for being number 1 pick more than any quarterback I've ever seen in my life. And he has absolutely no help at all whatsoever.
275 million reasons to not give a shit when anybody thinks, man.
Yeah, but more than any quarterback. Dustin, some people care about their legacy. Some people don't. It's not just about money. They want to win football games.
All I know is
want to win football games, and he's trying, and nobody else on his team is. Nobody
All
else
I
is
know
trying.
is that
Who's
I
trying?
agree with Darius here, and I think we all do. You know, we play who we play. Everyone's got
Yeah.
the soft spot in their schedule. You got to take advantage of it. Bears
Yeah.
fans should feel happy
Yes.
that the Bears are. I did expect the Bears to take advantage of this Jaguars team just based on all the stuff we're talking about, how bad they are and how bad their coaching is. They're just not a disciplined team. You saw a drive where the Bears should have been 3 and out multiple times, and the Jags just kept giving them penalties to get them downfield.
Yes.
And sorry, at the
That's what
bottom.
That's
this
just
is
bad
exactly what I'm
discipline,
talking
bad
about.
coaching, guys.
This game in particular, the Jaguars beat themselves just as
27.
much as the Bears beat the Jaguars. Look at this. If you look at the time possession, a difference of 1 minute. The Jaguars had more first downs. The Jaguars had more sacks.
What
The
point are
Jaguars
you
had-
making?
They had the
What
same
point?
amount of plays. They had more return yards. The Jaguars, they had more passing yards. The Jaguars did not. They beat themselves just as much as the
Yeah,
Bears.
they
beat the
do
Jaguars.
every week.
100%.
Kyle.
Yeah,
Yes,
what
Brandon,
point are you
the
making?
point I'm making is you're going to play opponent one day that doesn't drop those touchdowns, doesn't have those penalties.
Okay, so
doesn't-
you are saying that
I'm saying
you are
Bears
a big
fans,
concerned about the Bears' success against these bad teams. You have
Bears-
concerns moving forward into that tough stretch. Yes.
Bears
I-
fans, be happy about these
We all
wins,
should.
but have your reservations. That's all I'm saying.
Here,
when
can
you
I
play
say
high school
this?
teams, you should win.
Let me say this. I think Caleb Williams has improved every week. He's been fantastic. He continues to improve.
Yeah.
We can celebrate the highs, but I'm
Yeah.
going to promise you guys
Sean.
this. He's going to have a couple of lows in
Sean,
a couple
this
of
game-
games this year,
He did in
still
that
throughout his
game.
rookie year.
Guys,
Sean,
He
this-
did in that game.
Yeah,
He
this
had a
game.
pick
Yeah,
that
that
should have
pick
been
was
a
awful.
touchdown.
It was
You
awful.
know what?
I'm talking
Guys.
about a game where he throws 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and it's just not a good game for him.
Sean,
He's
when was
gonna
the-
have those games
Yes,
still
yes,
as a
he is.
rookie.
Sean,
Let's
when
not
was the
sit
last
here
time-
and say he's throwing
Sean, when
350 yards a
when was the last time you
Not
saw a quarterback in Chicago miss a touchdown throw and throw an interception and literally fucking his resiliency?
The next drive.
He just
yeah.
moves on
I'm
and
not-
fucking throws
Here,
touchdowns.
this is my point. This is
I'm
my
not
point.
doubting any of that at
Guys,
all.
Caleb just threw 4 touchdowns in that game. And he's not drinking his own Kool-Aid. That's the thing that should give us the most confidence as Bears fans. When Caleb's talking at the podium after that game, he's talking about the interception he threw, the passes he missed, the things he didn't do well enough, the things that they got to get better at. That's what I love about Caleb. He don't give a shit if he has 4
Well, and
touchdowns.
Justin,
He cares
guys-
if they win and if he limits his mistakes. He's a
Guys, when have you
consummate
seen a Chicago
professional.
quarterback throw an interception that early in a game and not just get completely mentally fucked by the fact that they made a mistake?
Well, the Jaguars would make that tough to do, man.
I mean that was a terrible decision, and he's going to learn. You're talking about the pylon, the pylon out route.
It
that-
wasn't a terrible decision.
wasn't a bad
terrible
decision.
pass.
It was
a
just
great
a bad
pass.
pass.
It was a
yeah.
terrible pass. It was a
Yeah.
terrible pass, but he was also DJ Moore
He
also
threw it
had
off
a
his back
safety
foot.
over the top, and he did
No,
not
that
make-
safety was not over the top when he threw that ball.
That was bracket coverage, dude. That guy was over
Yeah.
the top of DJ
Nah,
Moore.
not when he threw it. The safety's the one that made the
No, if he
interception.
threw it
came
beyond
underneath
DJ,
it.
if he threw it to the
Yeah,
corner of the end zone, that's a touchdown.
That's a, DJ runs under it. That's good. Yeah, he made the right read. He made the right throw. He just
Made a
didn't.
bad
Aaron
throw.
throw.
He
And
just
it got away
didn't
from him. You guys
protect
saw
on
it
the
when
pass.
he left his
Yeah.
hand. It was a floater. It was
Yes,
a
he
bad
threw off
pass.
of his back foot. Go watch
Yeah,
it.
he
threw off of
just
his
didn't
back
have
foot.
good.
He was
good
stepping backwards and threw the ball.
All right,
Don't
I'm looking
do
back.
that.
It was a split safety.
He's gonna
It was a
stop
split
doing that.
safety coverage on him, on DJ Moore. It was a bad throw.
Yeah,
It was
but that
under
safety
throw.
bit on that play action
Yeah, that
hard.
safety
It
was
was a
late.
Came
split safety.
underneath it.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
have to look back at my notes.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
safety was late. That safety was late.
But
man.
you
That was a
can't
bad
float the
pass
ball
by
like that.
Caleb.
But that's
No, you
something
can't.
he's going to learn from. He'll
Yes.
learn from that.
Yes, that's
And he
what
did
remember,
in that game.
remember on
He
this
did in that
podcast
game.
when
That's the point
remember on
Brandon's
this
making.
podcast when he threw 56 times or whatever, and I said, you know what, it sucks to see them do that, but I'd much rather see him do that than throw 9 times like Justin Fields. Like, let them make mistakes. They have to make mistakes. The only way to learn is to make mistakes and then tell yourself, like, I bet you Caleb Williams never makes that pass again. He will never make that pass. If Dustin's
gonna
right,
make
he's
it
talking
as a
about that
touchdown
after the
this
game.
time.
That's still bothering him. It's still in the back of his head. Like, man, DJ's probably pissed off. He could have got another 50-yard touchdown. That shouldn't have done that. That was a terrible pass.
Killed my
Gotta
over
catch
under
that
on
ball.
Caleb's passing yards too, man. Killed my over under.
Yeah.
Sean, yours too, right? You had Caleb at 245
And Sean
yards.
had DJ Moore too. Sean
No, I
had-
had
him
I
at
got
200.
Caleb Williams at 225. I got him early. I said I'd play him to 245. Good
Yeah,
thing
I played him
didn't
to
have do
250.
that.
Sean,
I
what'd you
did
have?
all-
What'd you have DJ over, Sean?
I had DJ over 59.
Yeah, so that would have been it. That would have been it.
DJ
That
Moore
would've
is
been
the
his
one
vote.
who bottomed out my parlay for the Bears game.
Yeah, that wasn't
I had
DJ Moore's
Caleb-
fault. He
I
got
had
open
Caleb
for a
over-
touchdown,
No, I
40
agree.
yards down the field, dude.
I did the alt and did Caleb over 200.
Ah,
Oh wow, you got like terrible odds on that, bro. Jesus, minus
Nope.
1,500.
Yeah, but it was like a 5-leg parlay.
So guys,
Like I said,
That's
the
a
only
lot.
one I didn't
That's
hit
a lot
was
of
Big
faith.
Steve.
I got
Yeah,
swift
I got
over
like
28 rushing
105 on
yards.
250.
when you wake up on Thursday morning, go get Caleb's odds right then and there if they're not out Wednesday night, because that's when I
Well,
got him at
this is
225. That
you
thing
guys,
jumped
he's talking
20
about
yards, dude.
he's talking about 2 weeks,
So-
guys. The Bears are on a bye week this week.
Yeah,
Well,
I did it
let's-
Thursday night after me and
Let's talk
Brandon's
about
show.
let's talk about
Yeah,
let's talk
'cause I
about
was-
the Vegas. Let's talk about the Vegas line real quick, guys. The Jaguars were favored in this game as of
They
Sunday
became
morning.
favorites going into that game.
That's
How
ridiculous.
That's just money coming in on
has
the
never
Jags.
been
Yeah,
so
yeah.
off.
That's
The market
ridiculous.
just corrected because of all the bets coming in on the
Yeah,
Jags.
that's-
No,
Nobody
the injury
believed that
report
shit.
came out for the Bears.
Nobody. I talked to 100 people at the bar, guys. Nobody said the Jaguars would win that football game.
Oh,
Not
but
one
the Sharps were all putting their money on the Jaguars, bro. They were
Yeah,
like everybody I listened
because it was their
Playing
best
pods.
odds.
They were all talking about how the Jags were the play, and I didn't see it. I never understood it. I wish I would have gotten the Bears as an underdog going into that game, man. But
I won
you
a
know, they
I
won
did.
straight out easily.
I won
so.
a 7-leg parlay money line on Sunday. It was the Bears. Oh God, Bears, Eagles. There's a whole bunch. I mean, but the Bears were the one. The Bears were the one that when I made that bet, I was like, that's the one that I could see just being kind of a wonky game. But I never had any doubt that they were going to win the game, or I wouldn't put them in there. And that
Yeah,
actually, the one that actually almost screwed me was the Cincinnati Bengals.
I had the Bengals that came through because they kicked that field goal. I had the I bet the Chargers over the Broncos.
Dude, you talk about
The
terrible
Bucs over the
football.
Saints.
That Bengals Giants game was the worst
That was
Sunday football
rough.
game I've seen
That
in a
was
long
Yeah,
time.
Brian
man.
Dable should be fucking
was-
fired.
That was awful. Well, both of them should be fired. Brandon, neither team played good. They did not play well. Neither team
What's
played well.
funny is that Cincinnati is only a few games out of the playoffs in the AFC right now. They're only like one game out of the AFC playoffs, so they're still hanging in there, man. But I thought that the Bears did exactly what they should have done in this game, guys. They did exactly what I expected them to do. I didn't expect this game to be close, and I was really glad to see the Bears come through on what I expected, because that, like we're all saying, this is what you have to do against bad teams. You have to put them out of the game early, and the Jags quit in the second half, guys. The Jags were just done. They didn't want to be in London anymore, and now they got to stay another week. That coach is going to be fired. That is going to happen,
When he gets
and the
back.
Bears are the catalyst for that to happen. That's fucking cool. The Bears beat the shit out of this team. Let's be excited about that. But yes, let's have some perspective, because again, 4-16 is the combined record of the teams the Bears have beaten. We need to use these games, like Darius is saying, to take advantage of it, to stack up some wins, get some. It's hard to call them easy wins in the NFL, guys, but get some wins statted on your record. So when you pat it on your record, so when you start going into this NFC North, which we're all saying, you just read the stat, Sean. Toughest division in the NFL, one of the toughest divisions in NFL history as of right now. The Bears are going to have their work cut out for them. We can only hope that the things that they learn in these games then start to affect games where they matter, because we're going to see if they're a contender for a playoff spot once those games start happening.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I wanted to I really took away from this, we all talk about the Bears having a top 5 defense, and I know that I've talked a little bit about some of the polls drafts and some of his decisions. I mean, some of them, obviously, we know a lot of them have been good, but some of them have not panned out. But, you know, the landmark of this defense is what I took away, because I wrote down these numbers because I really wanted to see it for myself. But 22 guys who can contribute, man. I mean, I know you guys you weren't impressed with Hicks. The guy had 5 tackles, a pass defense, a fumble recovery. He was kind of flying around the field. You had Jones out there. He had 10 tackles, 9 solo. Chris Williams, I know you hate him, Kyle. He had a sack, QB hit. Howard had a half a sack, QB hit.
I don't think Chris Williams was credited with the sack.
No, he got a solo sack. Chris Williams had a solo sack.
He did have a solo sack.
There was no one even near him, Kyle.
Yep.
That was Chris Williams all the way.
And by the way, our guy
had a
who
good game.
goes to
I think
River
the quarterback
Street
had
on
tucked
a
the
River
ball.
Street Victory Monday, Josh Blackwell, also had an interception during this game. And I don't know how to pronounce his last name. If any of you guys want to step in, Amin, that guy had a tackle for loss, and a couple of hits. I don't know how to say his last name. We're going to let that one go. But dude, just looking at it, I was sitting there like, man, because I was really concerned not having these guys. Then Kyler Gordon got hurt, and I'm starting to piss in my Cheerios, man. I'm like, son of a bitch. Now we're missing 3 guys.
When Kyler Gordon went out, Sean, that the Jags started moving the ball easily against the Bears. The Jags started, and now how much of that was the Bears just trying to protect the lead? But Kyler Gordon going out after already missing Brisker and Stevenson made a huge impact on this defense.
Yeah,
We obviously need these guys back because the Jags moved the ball at will once Gordon went out.
The Jaguars moved the ball pretty easily in the first drive of the game. They were
really at all for the rest of the half, man.
You know what though?
So you guys, I don't know what everybody's talking about. Elijah Hicks
drive for the opposing team, they move the ball on the Bears, and then they lock it down, settle down.
Elijah Hicks was the third highest Pro Football Focus grade on the Chicago Bears.
Elijah Hicks had a good day,
78.1.
He had a better game than I expected him to.
Number 1 was Byard, 2 Sweat, 3 Hicks, Gordon, Edwards, Sanborn, Dexter, Williams, Walker, Blackwell. That was their PFF.
I had Kevin Byard.
Jalen Jones was destroyed by
Byard
Pro Football Focus. Jalen Jones was absolutely destroyed by Pro Football Focus.
You know who got destroyed on Football Focus this week? Andrew Billings and Tremaine Edmonds again.
Andrew Billings has not been having the best season of his Bears tenure. His Pro Football Focus grade against the run is horrendous.
But against the pass rush,
the pass he's been better.
I think he kind of feels like he has to play the 3 techniques.
Guys, I heard something. This defense is kind of special. There's a grittiness to it. There's a camaraderie to it. We saw it in the preseason when they were playing against our offense, like how they would just start talking shit every time they made a play. This defense is together. And I heard a stat on Bill Simmons brought it up. He called it the havoc rating. It's like how much disruption you caused. I'm not even sure how it works, but it basically is about turnovers that you cause, disruptions of plays, hurries, all those things are thrown into it. And the Bears are a top 5 team in that too, in terms of just disrupting an offense. The Bears defense is going to carry them through this entire season, guys. And like we're saying, with these injuries that they had that were concerning, they still held up against what should be a pretty solid offense with a really good quarterback.
Yeah,
and they held up.
That's what we're all kind of expecting, right?
I
think that's why the Bears kept better this year. I think that's exactly expected to pick up right where they left off in the last 6 games of last season. The key statistic for the Chicago Bears is takeaways, guys. We talked about this 3 weeks ago. This is no longer a small sample size. You're talking about almost a full season going back to last year. The Chicago Bears are taking the ball away almost 3 times a game. That's unheard of.
It's now 11 or 12 games that they've not allowed 21 points or less straight.
Yeah, it's 12, I think now. 12 after that game. So
Brandon,
this Bears defense is legit, and I think I said in the beginning of the season, I think they could end up being number 1 by the end of the season. I still believe that the Bears could be the number 1 statistical defense, points allowed, yards per game allowed by the end of the season, 100%. I think they're only going to get better, man.
It seemed in this game they really, like you talked about it, Kyle, on your pregame show, how good this Jaguars offense is at running the football, and the Bears shut it down. They had 68 rushing yards against the Bears.
Dude, Travis Etienne had 3 attempts for -1 yards. Tank Bigsby had 7 attempts for 24 yards. I mean, the Bears, they couldn't find space anywhere.
Those 2 things give me huge confidence in this Bears team because the coaching staff is focusing on the run game, stopping it, and they got results, and they focused on cutting down the penalties, and they only had 2 in the whole game.
Yeah,
those are 2 very encouraging things.
Like Brennan said, what they were bringing it both linebackers up to the line of scrimmage almost every play. Now, unfortunately for the Bears, that meant that there was going to have to be a safety or a cornerback picking up Evan Ingram, which is never a good matchup because he's got the size advantage on him, and that's why I think the Bears were okay with it. I think they're like, all right, Evan Ingram, go get your 8 catches for 104 yards or whatever. Go ahead. The Jags are going to have to beat us through somebody else.
Yeah, they didn't see.
Ingram's not going to win this.
They wanted to eliminate the big play, and Evan Ingram was not going to make a big play down the field.
They were letting him get those 6-7 yard catches. That's the bend don't break.
They did not let them get a big play.
No, they were not. And the only big play advantage, the only time they even looked good throwing the ball down the field was that drop pass by Brian Thomas in the end zone. That he should have caught that. That should have been a 40-yard touchdown. But
even down the field, that was in the red zone.
Besides that, they didn't. How often do you guys remember them? The other throw they threw down the field, Josh Blackwell picked off, and I can't even tell you where that pass was going. I don't even know. That looked
he
like
didn't see Blackwell at all. He thought he had him on the inside of the defender that was on him, and he didn't even see Blackwell.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Blackwell, by the way, because he comes into River Street Tavern, guys. But that guy, every time that guy comes into play, all he does is make plays. Josh Blackwell, he could easily be stolen. Like, if I were another team, I'd be trying to trade for Josh Blackwell and make him the starter today.
They all feel like they're starters on the bench, is what they said. And they are guys that could start on other teams in this league.
Yep.
I do believe that.
Blackwell's a good special teamer too.
On the Jaguars could use Josh Blackwell and Elijah Hicks for sure.
Yeah. And Jalen Jones. Too.
Yeah, they could start over who they have right now easily.
Hey guys, did you
Dennis Moody, what up, man? Hit the like button.
What's
Welcome.
up, Dennis? Hey, really quick, do you guys know number one overall quarterbacks that have 4 passing touchdowns in a game as a rookie?
None.
There's a few.
A handful, 4 or 5.
It's actually Jameis Winston, Stafford, Mayfield, Luck, Palmer, Bledsoe, Aikman, Plunkett.
It's a lot of people.
Okay, we don't. This is not
It's getting less impressive.
Every first overall quarterback ever.
I beg to differ because there's been over. I think,
yeah, Sean. Like while you're
you have to go. You have to go back and look at the history of the NFL and see how many number one overall.
Sean, I get your point.
We're just messing with you, Sean. We're just
while you're spitting that, I'm thinking like this emotion.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But you just reminded me that Jameis Winston was the first overall pick.
Jamarcus Russell.
There you go. No Jamarcus Russell.
Cade McNown, Sid Luckman, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields. No, it is impressive though, because you think about how often the first pick in the draft is a quarterback. I mean, it's in the last 20 years, it's almost every year, right? So that is very, even if you're less than 20 is impressive because there's how many first pick quarterbacks played in the NFL? Thousands. I mean, it's not just it's Caleb Williams is just a different player, man. There's something about him. It's the God-given talent that sets him apart. Like Spurgeon was talking about Jaden Daniels. Sean noticed that as well. And I've heard that talked about how Jaden Daniels throws to his right way too often, and teams eventually will start to figure that out.
Yeah.
You don't have that. The Caleb Williams it's just God-given. It's instinct. It's his pocket presence. I mean, he's like a ballerina in there, man. You can almost the stuff he does is special. I've started calling. I'd say to Liz all the time, he's the magician. That guy, he just does stuff where I'm like, I don't know how the hell like that pass was against the Colts where he got it out to DeAndre Swift. Was that I don't remember what game it was the Colts, but I'm like I can't even see him in the
last week when he threw that sidearm to Cole Kmet on that screen.
Yeah,
guys, how about this week running out of bounds? Everyone thought he was running out of bounds. He goes back across his body and
Dennis Moody. Well, first off, Zach Lipsy makes a good point here. This is the second time in a row, 2 weeks in a row, the Bears had a penalty on the opening kickoff.
Yeah,
I think it's 3.
Last week.
I think it's 3.
That's
3
ridiculous. That needs to stop.
Well, that's only one of their 2 penalties, so that's pretty damn good.
That was Daryl Taylor. But Dennis Moody, guys, thanks Dennis Moody for hanging out with us. Says Jason, I think he's talking Jalen will be a McLaurin.
Jalen Johnson, yeah.
Will spy Jaden. Commander's defense will fold. This is his.
Yeah, you guys. I think the Bears will open as favorites in that game. I think they will definitely open as favorites against the Commanders for sure. I mean,
I agree.
What else could
Kyle was talking about what separates Caleb Williams, and his talent is obvious, God-given talent. I can agree with you there, but I don't think that's what separates him, because I think all these guys who get drafted number 1 overall have extreme talent. Caleb works his ass off. He's smart as hell.
Smart.
He focuses on what he needs to get better at, not what he's doing well.
I said
those things are what separate him to me.
Yeah, I said instincts. I mean, that's his intelligence.
It's more like the work he's doing to know what's going to happen. It's not even like it's not instinct as much as preparation.
I'm not. There's not one thing about Caleb Williams I don't like. Justin Fields worked hard. That was by every general consensus of the history of anybody who played for the Bears the last 3 years. Were like Justin's worked harder than anybody on the field. He's the first guy there, the last guy off. Yeah, it's the things he can do that other people can't do. That's what I mean when I say God-given talent. Like just the stuff in the pocket, those passes, those sidearm passes, the knowing where safety is going to be, all that, just his intelligence, his obviously his experience. He has a very, very good memory. He remembers certain plays. He remembers things that happen. So when he sees something similar the next time, he doesn't make the same mistake.
Man. His hunger.
There's nothing about him. Perfect. You can't. People could talk. People keep saying bad things about Caleb Williams on Instagram or Facebook. All these guys who, like Brennan said, avid Justin Fields lovers. People who wanted Jaden Daniels. Even Packers fans. You watch them. You hear the things they say about him. You guys, to me, it's just jealousy. I think they're just jealous. I think they're just envious. I think everybody knows if they're good football people. If they know football, they know Caleb Williams is good, and it pisses them off. I watched an Instagram video of these Packers fans all sitting around watching the Bears game against the Jaguars, and there was. Every single one of them, and they were like, "Oh God, man, this Caleb Williams, he's so awesome. This sucks. This guy's gonna beat the crap out of us."
My Patriots fan buddy walked into work today. He's like, "The Bears look really good, man. Caleb looks really good." I was like, "Yeah, of course." But I want to say this, man. Regards to, I talked about it last week a little bit about Caleb wanting to be the best ever, or maybe I talked about it bare minimum. Caleb's want to be the best that ever did this. His hunger for perfection
His drive,
is crazy. Like
His will
when
to win.
he's changing the plays at the line, like this guy wants everything. Like Dustin said, he talks about the one interception he had and the passes he missed. This guy wants things to be perfect. Perfect. He wants to leave a game saying nobody made any mistakes in any facet of the game. Like that is the mentality of a great player. That guy has the potential
Yeah.
to be one of the best if he wants perfection. And that's
You know,
what
and
he's chasing.
like I was saying before when we were talking about quarterbacks before we got on the podcast here, I care more about that. Like LeBron James may have better statistics than Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan's will to win and 6 championships, I will take that over the statistics all
And
day.
Caleb
every day for
mentioned
the
that
rest of
in
my
his
life.
press conference. He said
Like,
that's
I
why
don't-
Jordan's the GOAT, because he won.
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
will to win. His like Bernie, you're talking about the passion, the fire, the want to, the trying to get your teammates
But to
encouraged,
be, but
trying
to
to get
be,
them
but
motivated,
to be
being a
perfect.
leader. That's
He
what I'm
wants it
talking
to
about.
be
That's
perfect.
stuff. That's
He wants every
God-given
game
talent.
to be perfect.
Some people are born to be leaders, and some people are born to not be leader followers.
Zach
Caleb
Lipsy says
Williams-
it right here.
Caleb
You
Williams-
know, Caleb focuses on what he needs to get better at, not what he's doing well. I mean, replaying, he says that's what makes you better. Replaying your mistakes over and over until you perfect what you did wrong. Caleb is going to watch that repeatedly to
Yeah, he
make sure
wants
that
to be perfect.
Yeah.
He does, Zach.
Yeah,
I
and it's
agree
going
with
to be
you
one of those
100%.
situations when there's going to be one of those situations where they're sitting in a room, and DJ Moore and Caleb Williams are sitting in a room next to each other watching the tape, and they look at that interception. DJ is going to look at Caleb and go, "Really, man? Really, dude?" And Caleb's going to go, "I know, man. I know. Never again, dude. That will never happen ever again." Because Caleb Williams, that bothered him more than it bothered DJ Moore. That bothered him more than it bothered
that
DJ Moore.
bothered him more than any of his good plays made him good. Like he left that game feeling bothered more by that interception than he felt good about the 4 touchdowns.
Dude, it was a mistake he made, and I don't want to say I felt good about the interception, but like I almost did. Especially even you could even hear it in the announcers' voices. They were like, "Yeah, that was Caleb's fault. He can't make that pass." Not worried about it. On to the next play, and Caleb never skipped a beat. He never missed a beat.
The sideline reporter, the female analyst, I don't remember her name. She said, "Let's see how Caleb responds." And I thought, dude, all these haunting memories
that's
of
the key.
Rex Grossman throwing one interception and knowing it's over.
Jay too.
Quarterbacks.
Jay Cutler did that too. Jay Cutler did that too. Jay Cutler
All
did
these
that
Chicago quarterbacks that made a mistake early in a game, and then you knew.
Then it snowballs.
You knew as a Bears fan, it's over. It's a wrap. He made one mistake.
Yeah,
it's 100%.
Over. Jay Cutler did that too, and I like Jay Cutler, but he had games where he had 6 picks. He did it against San Francisco one day, and he just could not get over it.
Rex Grossman was
move on.
infamous for this. If Rex Grossman threw a pick, there was going to be 2 or 3 more following that one. That's
Dennis Moody digs everyone's opinion. He says Kyle's the voice of reason. I don't know if I dig that opinion. If we can beat the Vikings, I'm joking, Kyle.
I know. I'm just
if we can beat the Vikings defense, I will be 100% excited about Caleb's progression. Huh?
I said you're a dick.
Fuck you, Brandon. He is the only rookie using his 3rd and 4th reads. Yes, for sure, man. He goes through his progressions very well.
Wasn't that awesome?
And he looks off defenders.
Yeah, and Kurt Warner is the shit. His Kurt Warner's like, let's slow down Caleb's eyes and
watch what he does here.
When they went inside, that was awesome.
Hey, by the way, it's like he's like, look, there's the soul right there. He's like, I can see
the whole speech he gave about the eyes was. I hope Kurt Warner covers another Bears game because I like Rich Eisen. I do. As bland as he can be sometimes, I love Rich Eisen.
He called Kurt Warner Mr. Puffy Jacket. I thought that was funny.
I thought that tandem was awesome, bro.
That was awesome. It's like when they pause it, he's like, "Oh, there's a soul right there." You can see his soul through his eye. That was hilarious. No, I don't know, man. Caleb Williams is something special, dude. I've never had this feeling before. We talked about this last week when Rex Grossman, Justin Fields, when those guys used to throw downfield, I was always like, "Oh God, oh no. What's coming? Oh no, here's a turnover." Well, almost every time Caleb does it, I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome."
Yeah, but I will say this on his interception when that
he's just so he looks so.
I look bad from the beginning. Yeah, that looks bad.
He just looks so precise. Like he looks so. What's the word I'm looking for? Like he's making. He's going to make. Yeah, like he was going to make that decision before they even snap the ball. Yeah, decisive.
We'll go back
before
to that
he even snapped the ball. He's like, I know where this ball is going.
Go back to that throw.
Perfect pass.
Go back to that throw to Keenan Allen because he released that throw. We didn't mention this.
Yeah.
He released that throw before Keenan Allen even turns around and looks at
before he even
both
cut.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he
Both.
He knew exactly where he was putting that, just in the
Both
spot.
Keenan Allen touchdowns. And you know what I heard today on the radio, man? I didn't catch this during the broadcast. I think it was Kurt Warner. I don't remember which one of them said. One of them said, or maybe it was the radio broadcast. One of them said on the second touchdown to Komet, because the first touchdown Komet, which was awesome, man. Komet just had to rape for a defender and put him on the ground like he wanted to. He didn't even have to interact with that player. But he's like, I just want to make you look stupid. But the second touchdown to Komet, I heard one of the radio voices or something said, and it's an easy pass to Cole Komet. And I thought to myself, that was over the outstretched hand fingertips of a player.
It was a busted coverage. They didn't go with Komet.
No, Komet got away from somebody, but
Yeah.
somebody came in the passing lane and leaped, and Caleb made it kind of float and then fall right into Komet's fucking lap. And I was like, I don't know if that it's an easy play. Like you can throw multitudes of passes to get to Cole Komet, but Caleb made the one that was like flawless. Like nobody's gonna touch it except for the guy who's intending.
Burton, since you're talking about Komet, Sean, what do you think that this the amount of 11 personnel they used this week? What do you think that means for Gerald Everett going into the future? Because 11 personnel means one running back, one tight end. So
Yeah, I think Gerald
Everett was not on the field a lot. He was not on the field a lot.
Well, Waldron is kind of figuring out exactly what he needs to do with this offense.
The two things.
And you have Everett if Komet's injured. It's good to have another quality.
If Komet's injured, we're screwed because they're not.
I mean, but do you guys not
the same book?
You guys not agree that?
Yeah, but Sean, what if Mercedes Lewis was your backup?
11 personnel is where
they should be, right? Yeah, that's where they should be.
That's what me and Brandon have been saying. Brandon's been calling that out on the bare minimum too. He's been talking about that for a couple of weeks because those are your three best weapons that you're getting on the field more often.
And you only have one running back. DeAndre Swift is one running back.
And that's the dynamic that gave the Bears that's the dynamic that made the Bears special. Is you can't defend the three of them. You can't. Yeah. I don't care who unless you have maybe the Bears secondary. You can't cover Rome and Keenan and DJ all that you can.
And then you add in Cole Komet, and Kyle brought up DeAndre Swift. That 11 personnel is better for DeAndre Swift too, guys.
Yes,
spreading out the field. You're making more lanes in the middle.
Yes, take as many defenders away from the line of scrimmage.
Guys, I know he's not
exactly how DeAndre Swift should be used. That's how the Eagles use it.
That's how
he's been Ryan Poles. This is what Ryan Poles envisioned, and I truly believe this. He's not a coach. But this guy knows football because when he had what Dustin just said, he signed DeAndre Swift and then traded for Keenan Allen, knowing like I just made DeAndre Swift possibly the best weapon in the NFL by giving this offense three receivers you can't cover. Because first off, man, did you guys hear what they said about DeAndre Swift before that game started? On his first snap coming on the field? Other than Derrick Henry, he's number one in the league for all-purpose yards. Which is like, how quietly did this guy do this? But
over the last 3 weeks, he's just been dominating.
Yeah,
Ryan Poles signed Keenan Allen because I was on the first CSP episode I ever did. Man, I was on a guy with I forget his name, Eric something, but he worked for the Gridiron, the Windy City Gridiron, and he was saying that all the moves that Ryan Poles made were the signs that he's going to re-sign Justin Fields. And I was thinking to myself, everything this guy has done has been for like a rookie QB, right? I mean, DeAndre Swift is a pass-catching back. Keenan Allen is an insurance blanket for any quarterback that needs to get rid of the ball quickly. Like, everything he did to me said rookie QB. And then Shane Waldron took 5 weeks to do it, but he's finally done it. He's figured out how Ryan Poles intended on each one of these guys to be used, the role that they've played their entire careers. And it's finally showing up on paper, guys. And you can tell me they're playing bad football teams. If DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Komet, and Rome Odunze are used the way they're supposed to be, I don't fucking care who the Bears
Those are some of the best weapons in the NFL. Those are some of the best weapons in the NFL. Yes.
Because the level of throwing the ball well enough to win a football game.
Play. They play at an elite level. Zach Lipsy brings up Gerald Everett not needing to be on the field, but Waldron still tried to run a screen to him. This fucking screenplay to Gerald Everett needs to go away, guys. It needs to be crumpled up and
you guys about that. Like, why of all the players on your
time? It's pointless. It goes nowhere. If he catches it, he's not making anybody miss. So who do you think Gerald Everett is?
He did it this week. He did it this week to Cole Komet. and he had Braxton running out to make a block for Cole Kmet, and it got blown up. And I'm thinking to myself, in case Braxton doesn't get there, because he didn't, it was a linebacker on the move. Like, why are you asking your left tackle to do that to begin with? But in case he doesn't get there, why not give the ball to somebody who can make a damn play? Like, why does Cole Kmet have the fucking ball
Why
in
do
his
you
hands?
always
Right?
get the thumbs up coming out of your mouth, Brandon? Why does that always happen to you?
What's that?
Where's,
You
where's
just
this
had the
bubble
thumbs up.
coming
You
from?
just had the thumbs up come out of your mouth again.
I think that means somebody liked the
Somebody
video. And I
liked it,
think
but you guys have
it
the likes
shows up.
displayed today. Yeah.
It shows
Usually
up
you
on the
don't have them
person.
displayed.
It shows up on the person talking. You
Oh,
talk about the thumb that like floats.
Yes.
Oh, that's so we get a
Yeah.
like, and then
Yes,
that
so we gotta
happens.
yes.
Yeah,
So
and
Hey,
it,
thanks,
you
it
guys,
shows
you
up.
know what you know what the 11 personnel means to
It
me?
always
means
shows up when I'm
Shane,
talking.
Shane
Yeah,
Waldron
because
said
you're
he
always
was,
talking.
Nice.
Shane Waldron said he was going to come here and he was going to adjust to his personality. He said he was going to almost run kind of like a West Coast hybrid. He's changed his coaching philosophy. I mean, you go back and look at what he did last year. This may not be like completely the opposite of what he was doing, but it's different, man. He was running a lot more 12, 13 personnel last year where he had 2-3 tight ends in the field. He's abandoning that because he knows that, like Justin just said, Brennan just said, their best 5 options are on the field at all time. DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet. This is what we were talking about the first few games. We were like, remember, Sean, you said that it was like some 10 plays total in the first game where all 5 of those guys, we're all like, what, where did this come from? This is not the team we thought we were going to watch in the off season and when we were watching the preseason, when you didn't even see Carter and Everett and these guys. Now all of a sudden they're starting to use the guys who are their best. I mean, I guess you did see a lot of Everett in the preseason, but they're starting to use their play, the best 5 on the field. They're starting to get everybody involved. Once again, Roma Dunze had 2 catches. Keenan Allen had 5 catches. Cole Kmet had 5 catches. DJ Moore had 4 catches. He's spreading the ball out like crazy.
Distribution's been amazing.
Yep. DeAndre Swift continues to make
7
every single
different receivers had a catch yesterday.
Yep.
8.
And DeAndre Swift makes every team.
No, they had 8 targets, 7 catches. 8 receivers were targeted, 7 caught.
7 caught.
Yeah, but these defenses can't abandon the Bears run. They have to commit to the Bears run game because DeAndre Swift can kill you if you give him the opportunity to. Obviously, he's the last 3 weeks. He's obviously the key to the Bears offense. He's at over 100 yards from scrimmage in all 3 of them, I believe. I mean, this is the Bears team we envisioned. This is the Bears. This is why they brought Shane Waldron here to do stuff like this. And this is starting to look. And now it's starting to get a little bit cute, right, guys? I mean, like that fake handoff to Keenan Allen, where you go take one linebacker one way, then you fake the pass to DeAndre Swift. That linebacker
he's going to open this. The better they play.
Real quick, Kyle, on what you were talking about. Shane Waldron ran, and Sean brought up this stat to start in terms of the 11 personnel. Last year, the last actually 3 years with Seattle, and you really look at it in the first half because that's when the game is kind of, you're deciding how you're going to play the game. In the first half of games, Shane Waldron was running 60% at 11-man personnel.
Yeah.
And he started the first 4 games of this season at about 55%, man.
Yeah, and now he's up to 86%.
Now you jump up to 69, and then you jump up to 88.
He's adjusting.
He's adjusting. That's what you want to see as a Bears fan.
That's what I'm saying. Shane Waldron needs to start getting.
I was just giving the stats to back up what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
Go ahead, I said it a few weeks ago on the show, and then I think what you just talked about is probably the most important thing on this Bears team because Matty Eberflus has been here. The defense has played well once they got their pass rusher. We had 2 of the most stubborn offensive coaches in Shane and Matt Nagy and Luke Getsy that I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't matter if you said to Luke Getsy, "Hey, throw your whole playbook out because this quarterback's better at running." He would have been like, "I don't fucking care."
Raiders Nation put a new picture out of Getsy today. Go ahead, Brandon.
But I agree with you, man. That is the
one man's trash is another man's trash. Thanks. You guys can have Luke Getsy. Keep him.
I agree with you. That's been the biggest thing in this season, man, as our offensive coordinator is adapting to his personnel. And that's what I was trying to say a little bit ago. And I don't know if I even got my point across. Like, this is what Ryan Poles, I truly believe, envisioned. And Shane Waldron was like, it took him a couple of weeks, but I think Shane Waldron is like, this is why this guy brought me these pieces.
Sean, go. I feel like you haven't.
Yeah. What other points do you have for us to get to?
I was just going to say, number one, dude, when you extend more, you trade for Allen, you have Odunze, you bring Swift in, you have Kmet. 11 personnel should have been from the jump, but that's just me. I had a couple of things for you. I wanted to get to this DJ Moore comment and really find out where I'm trying to find it. He said DJ Moore confirms that the Bears didn't script any of their plays in the first couple of games of the season. He said this is the first time in his career he can ever remember that any team taking that approach. He's glad that Waldron is doing it now. Having the first 15 plays scripted is a big deal, DJ said.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell
Yeah.
was going on at the beginning of the season that this guy is not scripting the plays?
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's when Justin actually looked good. It was always like the first drive of the game.
That's when Mitch Trubisky looked good with Nagy.
They'd always get a field goal.
15 plays. Yeah. No, it's that was weird to hear. Yeah,
I don't know how they got that information when the announcement, but I heard them say that on Sunday. I was like, what?
DJ Moore talked about it.
Rich Eisen brought it up during the broadcast.
Like, that's weird. I will say though, on Sunday, there started to be a little more trickery to the Bears offense. Did you guys notice that? Dude, there's a couple times where the Bears tricked me. I was like, wait, where's the ball? Who the hell is the ball?
Let me say this before I forget it again. The better Caleb plays, the more Waldron is going to open up. I'm telling you this right now. There's an entire section of this playbook. Once they lost that game, the 2 games in a row, Texans, Colts, Shane Waldron took a part of this playbook and fucking threw it out and said, you know what, man?
Yeah,
do this.
Simplified it.
This is what we're doing.
Shane Waldron took it on the chin too.
And the better you play, the more I'm gonna do. And guys, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Why Caleb to me is more special than any rookie quarterback in this class or any rookie quarterback we've seen in a long time. Is Caleb is when you every team does this for a rookie quarterback. You take a part of your playbook. You don't throw too much at him. You take a part of your playbook, a very progressive part of your playbook. You stick it aside and you say, we'll get to that. I think Caleb is kind of telling Shane.
Justin Fields is still in his closet with dust on it from the Bears.
Yeah, for sure. I think Caleb is telling Shane. I think Caleb is telling Shane, like, I want it all. I know I made some mistakes early and often. I know in that 2-game stretch, I threw the 4 interceptions.
I mean, do you guys, Brendan, was this the first? I don't remember anymore. Those
two of
those runs were designed runs for Caleb Williams. I don't remember seeing any of that before this week. Those 2 of those runs were specific.
They had RPOs last week. They had RPOs last week where he was keeping the ball.
That second keep he had, man, I thought that was a handoff too. Like obviously the linebacker bit, but I thought that the cameraman thought that the running back had the ball too, man. That second fake handoff he did where Caleb Williams took off on the right side of the field, I was like, oh shit, Caleb still has the ball. And he was wide open.
To kind of define what you're talking, like the jumbo package where they brought in, all the Quran and all these
and Kramer,
and they're going to run the ball like that. Probably they were a yard away when he called that play in this game against the Jaguars. He probably would have gotten a first down, but he's now trusting Caleb enough to say, hey, this defense watched some film. They know what this is.
Well, where Caleb has to be better, Brandon, is he can't throw that pick because if they're taking that shot and they're hoping real quick, though, they're hoping worst case scenario he overthrows it. It's an incompletion. We come back on 4th down and we can run another play and get the first down because it's easy.
Yes.
When you throw that pick, you kind of destroy that.
And Shane Waldron's doing a really good job of seeing how Caleb responds to things as he opens up this playbook. Guys, Tom Waddle talked about on the Waddle and Sylvie show. After the loss to the Colts, Tom Waddle said, Shane Waldron is going to cut this thing. He's going to bring this thing way back. You could see in the first 2 weeks, he thought what we all thought. Caleb is special. He's going to come out and he's going to be the fucking man. Like Drake May threw 3 touchdowns. I think the Bears' anticipation of Caleb Williams is he's going to come in week 1 and he's going to be the fucking guy. And when he wasn't and the protection was bad, Shane Waldron thought to himself, we need to tone it way back. And as this guy progresses, I'm going to give him more and more and more. I'm going to test him more and more and more because that's the kind of guy Caleb is.
You guys notice?
Dustin just made the point. He made a mistake. You tried something, right? You ran that jumbo package. It worked every time. You tried something. It didn't work. I'm going to bet you it's a long time before we see Caleb throw a Hail fucking Mary on a jumbo package play. I'm going to bet you it's a long time before we see that again.
No, I want to see it again, man. I that's where they can really take advantage of a team. Did you guys notice how much Jaden Daniels' cartoon actually looks like him? Like he seems very drawable. He's got a very drawable face with those dreads. Like it looks like everyone else is drawn, and Jaden Daniels is just a picture of Jaden Daniels.
Did you guys see Shane Waldron talking to Caleb Williams on the side? He looks like a humble father giving like he's so like calm, cool, quiet, collected.
Wait, real quick,
usually the offensive coordinator and the quarterback are kind of antsy with each other all game, or kind of like at each other's nerves. Shea Waldron is so
No,
like
they're having
calm,
fun,
cool.
man. They're
They,
having fun.
they were having like a conversation at the bar.
Hey,
man.
really quick, can we get back to I just want to touch on how dominant the NFC North is, because the NFC North is plus 211 for the year. The AFC West is plus 20. That's the closest to the NFC North, dude. Then you got the AFC North at plus 15, the NFC East plus 8, and then every other division in football is minus.
Sean, you're talking about score differential?
Yeah,
Point differential, yeah.
point differential. Dude,
I mean, that's the biggest indicator of a team's success, really, is that point differential.
Dude, the AFC South minus 29 point differential, the NFC West minus 47, AFC East minus 69, AFC South minus 71. Dude, the NFC North is so dominant right now through 6 games.
That's going to start to level out once they start playing each other. There's only been one NFC North game.
Yeah,
Zach brought this up, and I thought about this when you brought up their scripted drives, because we didn't really touch on that very much. Like, if the Bears started scripting drives, they were 3 and out their first 2 drives of this game. So I mean, how much impact is that making or not making? And, Zach says a lot of times teams that score opening drive don't score for a while. That's how Matt Nagy's offenses used to be. They were very successful on that first drive, and then the defense counterpunched, and they didn't know what the fuck to do, and they didn't score for a while. I agree with that, Zach.
I'll be honest.
That's what people do against the Bears.
I'm used to the Bears not being good on the opening drive.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
6 weeks now.
You know how a batter in the MLB watches that first pitch go by, strike or ball, no matter what it is, to kind of see what the pitcher's going to throw, what kind of stuff the pitcher's got. It's kind of how the Caleb Williams has been against these defenses. His first drive is a dud. I think they go 3 and out, maybe even the first 2 drives. And then he figures it out and just picks them to pieces, bro.
Well, you guys
the Mets beat the Dodgers, guys. The Mets beat the Dodgers.
They did. It was 6-0 last time I looked.
Can I ask you guys if we could kind of turn the page on the Bears just for 1 second here and look at the rest of the NFC North? I mean, first of all, what do you guys believe that this Aiden Hutchinson injury means to the Detroit Lions? And second of all,
they have no pass rush.
Second of all, what do you think is going to happen when Detroit plays Minnesota? Not this week, but the following week. What is that? That's this week coming up.
That's this week
coming up. What do you guys think happens in that game?
I think Detroit's going to beat the shit out of Minnesota, guys. I think Detroit is the best team in the NFC.
I was going to say it's a good thing Detroit can score because they're going to need to.
I don't know.
The Vikings hang their hat on getting pressure on quarterbacks. This Detroit team is just really, really hard to do. Man.
A great offensive line. Jared Goff gets rid of the ball quickly. He's accurate when he throws it. I don't think it's a good. Brandon said this before, and he's right. It's not a good matchup for the Vikings, the Detroit Lions.
No, it's a
not
terrible
without
matchup.
Aiden Hutchinson. That hurts because he was leading the league in sacks, I believe, and he was
the defensive player of the year. If the season
and this Lions defense is not very good. It's really
their secondary is not very good. So I mean, if they're not getting pressure, then that makes it worse.
I do think that it's a bad matchup for the Vikings because the Vikings make a living on stopping the run. That Detroit offensive line is going to get them 5 yards of carry. It doesn't matter who they're playing, man.
And
they're going to get 4 or 5 yards of carry.
Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, dude.
They just extended Montgomery yesterday. That's how big a deal.
Sean, what are you saying?
No, I agree. I think that Detroit. Well, I said it when we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I still think Detroit's the best team in this division. I still think
Detroit's the best team in the NFC.
Since day one. I do think the Packers ultimately.
I will say this: being the best team in the NFC, maybe still, but losing Aiden Hutchinson puts a big question mark next to being the best team.
That's huge for when the Bears play them because the Bears are. The offensive line is our biggest worry, and a guy like Aiden Hutchinson can change a whole game when he's playing a weak line. So that makes a huge difference when the Bears go play them.
And Washington just lost one of their
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen's out now. So the Bears have gotten lucky with injuries.
Just caught too many breaks.
They've gotten lucky with injuries.
Zach said this a while ago. Detroit's defense will be easier to deal with. No, I don't know if he's just talking about in general because Aiden Hutchinson's out, but Dustin just nailed it. Detroit is not one of the, when it comes to the Bears, Detroit is not one of the teams that worries me. It really isn't.
Minnesota worries me.
The San Fran team worries me because Bosa is going to be unmanageable. The Minnesota team worries me because they've got Dallas Turner and Greenard.
And Brian Flores,
even the Green Bay team,
5% of their fucking place.
even the Green Bay team, man. Who's the kid in Green Bay that's the monster pass rusher?
Rashawn Gary,
Lucas
Gary.
Van Ness.
Yeah, he's now 6th or 5th fifth, I think, all time. And
Lucas
Packers.
Van Ness is having a good season too. Man.
Yeah, and they just drafted him in the first
this
round
is,
2
this
years
is
ago.
why I
Right?
said
looks
I
like he
have
was a
no
first-round
problem. I have no problem picking the Bears to possibly sweep Detroit. We almost did it last year with not a good as team. I think we'll still split in with Minnesota, but I cannot pick this team to be able to beat that team up north until they actually do it, unfortunately.
And when we start looking forward, the Packers are the first team that they play in divisional wise, and it's going to be very important that they're on top of their game when they get into that stretch, guys. Like you said, Sean, if they can get to 7-2, I think splitting those games, that back half going 4-4, and not just splitting it just for the sake of splitting it. I want to see them competitive in those games. I think all of us as Bears fans want to see these be actual games. Like, we're used to the Bears going into the NFC North games, and it kind of looking rough. I want to see them competing against the Packers and competing even if they lose. I want to see a competitive game that shows that if they do make the playoffs, they can hang with one of these teams. Because 3 teams from the NFC North are making the playoffs, guys. At least could be 4.
Could be 4 for the first time ever.
Yeah, and you're going to play an NFC North team in the wild card if you make it.
I'm going to say this right now because you asked me this question. I think it was you, Brandon. You asked me this question last week if I still believed or changed my opinion on Matt Eberflus. I will not change my opinion on Matt Eberflus until he gets in this division and I see him coach against the better coaches in our division.
That's totally fair.
The best coaches that we're going to face on our schedule outside of Kyle Shanahan are coming from our division.
Matt LaFleur, Dan Campbell, and Kevin O'Connell. Yes, those, and that's totally fair, Sean. His record in the NFC North is abysmal.
Yeah.
He needs to turn that around. So he just got his first 3-game winning streak. He's showing some positive signs of reviving his career, man.
Because he got his first game winning 3-game winning streak when the timeouts or when the penalties. He got penalties. This guy is doing a good job. He's doing a good job. And yes, you can say he's doing a good job against a bad stretch of teams, but he is. Because getting your penalties down from 10 in a game in 2 weeks to 2.
It went from 9 to 5 to 2, guys.
Calling a defense, guys.
Exactly.
Who do you think Matt Eberflus's favorite player on this team?
Zach Eberflus thinks it's going to be a closer game between Minnesota.
He needs Kyler Gordon.
I will give him his flowers. I will not give him his credit until he wins our division. That's what I need him to do. I need him to not be outcoached by the coaches in our division.
You just said wins our division. Did you mean wins the NFC North, or you just mean win in the division?
Win within the division. I don't care if he
but the Bears aren't winning the NFC North this year.
No, they're not going to win the NFC North. I'm saying win within the division.
The players got to do that too.
Have your team prepared, because the Bears last year were not prepared in either game against that team from up north.
Do you think, Sean, this is a good conversation. Do you think? Because I said to Dustin on the bare minimum, and this was probably the best thing I think I said on that show, and I believe this firmly. No, but for real, man, we were talking about how the Jaguars or the Bears were being favored by every analyst you watched, everybody you saw on TV and radio, and you said it scared the fuck out of you. And I said to you, that is because we are scarred, we're jaded, and we have a pessimistic view. But I said, after I watched what they did to the Panthers, I expect them to do it again, because this is different people running this organization, and they fucking murdered another bad team in a row. So I believe when it comes to those games, the games against the Commanders, where they're going to need to score, obviously, guys, the games against the Packers, the Vikings, where they're going to need to stay, and this defense is going to have to keep them in games for sure, because you're playing really high. Like Dustin said a few weeks ago, guys, you're going to shoot out with these guys. I mean, this is a high caliber. This division is full of offense. And you're going to play really good skill players, and Justin Jefferson and Amon Ra, and even Christian Watson.
What's really burning? What's really unique about this situation you're talking about, like the fact that they're just the NFC North specifically. This is very unique for the Bears, because, like Dustin and Sean said, this division is clearly the best in football. It's not just the record. You look at the point differential.
This team is different.
So what the Bears do in their own division, that could ultimately tell you how far the Bears can go. If the Bears go up and beat, if they go beat the crap out of the NFC North, they're going to the Super Bowl for the NFC. If they went 6-0 against the NFC North, they're going to go to the Super Bowl, because outside of San Fran and Philadelphia,
I'm talking pretense. I'm not talking about what they do. What I'm saying is, I right now, after what I've seen, like you guys, we just talked about Shane Waldron's willingness to not be stubborn. That was the biggest thing that bothered me with this Bears team for the last few years, is they just couldn't fucking change no matter what. And I believe right now, I have confidence that this team is going to be a different team than they were the last few years that got their ass kicked in this division. when they go play this Packers team at home, then I'll have what, a 9-game win streak because that's a home game again in fucking London. But okay, we'll call it a 9-game home 9-game
They
home
are
winning
they
streak.
are actually counting that in our record.
I have, yeah, it's a home win. It
It's
is.
a home
I
game.
have faith. I
Brandon.
have faith that
Well,
this
it's not
team
that stupid because we had
is
9
going
wins
to
and
do what
8
you
wins.
want them to do against these teams.
This is what I talked
Brandon,
about at the beginning.
I hope you're right.
This is what I talked about at the beginning of the season. What
I've
stood
been
out,
jaded too many times.
and Brandon's touching on it here, and it's the thing that gives me the most confidence in this Bears team.
Caleb Williams.
That's
the thing.
No, let me talk. It's the culture. You said, Brandon. It's the culture. It's the fact that these coaches are building a team that plays together. The offense benefits from the defense. The defense benefits from the offense. The special teams benefits the defense.
Oh yeah, guys. By the way, 2 punts for 129 yards.
And these things that the Bears are doing, like you can see that the players all love each other. They're all stepping up for each other. They're joking about each other in press conferences. Matt Eberflus has control of this locker room in a way that he has not in the past. He really does. And the grit and like the Bears can be in any game. Any style of game, the Bears can be in it. That's what gives me the most confidence because they don't quit and they got grit that's not going to stop, man. It's going to carry them through the season. I said that through the first 2 games.
They just made a statement.
It's going to continue to happen.
The Bears just made a statement.
That's the biggest thing for the Bears.
The last 2 weeks, the Bears have told everybody we are for real. The last 3 weeks, they've told everybody we are for real. We're here to compete.
Yes.
And if they could compete in the NFC North, that's the playoffs because
Kyle,
they're going to be playing
that's
NFC
what
North team.
Kyle, that's what I mean. I think the Packers, Vikings, and Lions will finish with this Bears team. Because I'm talking about how I feel about them today. Telling Dustin they're going to kick the shit out of the Jaguars because they kicked the shit out of the Panthers, and this is different.
I think kick the shit out of the Jaguars too.
But, yeah, for sure, man. But this, down the bare minimum, I was saying this is different. This is a team that's going to do the thing that you want them to do, but you don't expect them to because that's how we feel. We feel like the Bears are never going to. We expect the most, or we expect the worst, but we hope for the best. And now we can. I think this is a team that you can expect the best and hope for the and the worst is always a possibility, but I think you expect the best. And I think the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers are going to think to themselves, win or lose, that fucking Bears team was a goddamn handful.
Fucking team.
Holy fuck. Like
I think
Caleb Williams,
I think
DeAndre Swift,
I think NFL players
Allen,
they recognize talent
much.
before like analysts or football fans do. I think the players in the NFL are already like this. Caleb Williams guy's legit. There's no doubt about it because they can see it. They can see it better than we can. They know what he's doing on the field. They know every single tiny little fundamental thing, football X's and O thing he's doing. We don't. So the league is already aware that Caleb Williams is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. You know what else
they think, man? In their division, we're better. You know what these teams think? You don't even have. It's 100% true. The players on these teams think we're fucking better than that team. The Packers last year thought against the Bears when they played them, we're fucking better than that team. We're gonna beat that team. We should beat that team. We're better than that team. That this year, I think they're gonna play the Bears and be like, oh shit.
I think that depends on. I think that completely depends on if Shane Waldron can continue to take pressure off that offensive line and have success in the run game. If they can continue to do that all season, and you know what, 4 sacks is not good. It's not good, but it's better than 7. But
that wasn't so much a protection issue, though. Brandon mentioned that earlier, man. Caleb held the ball too long on a couple. Now there was one
in particular. He had absolutely no chance to survive that play at any way. Not a chance.
Yeah, I think that was
for sure. But there was 2 where he held the ball just too long, man. There was 2.
And Caleb Williams is probably going to learn to get better. Their sack numbers will probably go down, and the more that Caleb Williams gains experience, the more he can get out of those sacks. Even I mean, great offensive lines give up failing protection sometimes, and the quarterback has to bail them out. That happens.
He's been sacked 20 times this season. 20 times.
Yeah, that's too much. If he keeps
going down though, like to make your point, it was 4 a game. Now it's down to like 3.2 or whatever.
I'm gonna put
eventually he's going to get hurt if you keep hitting him like that every single game because the quarterback's the least protected player on the field, man.
Weeks 4 through 6. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right there.
And didn't we talk about that on the podcast, guys? Didn't we say ultimately end of the season, as much as we'd love to see the Bears make the playoffs, or even, God forbid, we say have a Super Bowl run or something like that?
Caleb's development.
Yes, Caleb
By the way,
Williams'
guys, I took
development
these
was, and
pictures off
make
my
sure
team.
Shane Waldron is going to be guys here for a long time, because you can't do that shit where you change the offensive coordinator every year. You can't do that. That's not good for a quarterback. I don't care what quarterback it is. And I do think that Caleb Williams is scheme proof, but it's still more learning he has to do if you change your offensive coordinator every year. So
We missed this comment. We missed this comment, guys, from Moody. I mean, I showed it, but we didn't really discuss it. I just kind of like what he's saying.
Yeah,
here.
no, I like this comment.
DJ and Rome draw the DBs. Keenan and Komet should eat in the middle. I'm getting Brady Patriot vibes.
Yeah, no, it's something special we're watching here, guys. It's the start of something special. And what's
you're
awesome
not
about
even-
it
and
is
you're not even
they're all
talking
here.
about- and you haven't even
Besides Keenan,
Swift isn't mentioned.
Swift.
Yeah, Swift is the biggest key to this offense being successful.
He's the straw that stirs the drink.
he's their
Yes.
James White.
Yes.
He's their James White. And how amazing is it that all these, this is not something that the Bears don't have some tight, tiny little close window. They got DJ for 6 years, Rome for 5 years, Caleb for 5 years.
That's what I mean.
DJ's
man,
here
when
for
I
6
say-
years.
It's a 4-year contract. What do you mean? 6
Extension.
years?
It's a 4-year
4 years.
extension on the final 2 years of his contract.
He's got 6
It's a
years here.
6-year deal. He's here for
Yeah.
6 years.
But that's what I
No,
mean, man.
anybody
they-
signed a
That's
6-year
what I mean,
contract.
man. Is the powers
All
are shifting. The powers are shifting, and teams are going to realize, win or lose against this Bears team,
Hate to say
Packers are going to realize
shifted to the
this
NFC.
is trouble. This is a fucking handful. This is trouble. This is going to be trouble for a long time to come.
Well, I'll say this.
Going through
They're not
2029. Yeah.
Nobody's
to,
going anywhere.
NFL
They're not, except for Keenan Allen. Nobody's going anywhere.
According to NFL football operations, NFL teams that start 4-2 historically have a 67% chance of winning. They will be playing
Making the
off a
playoffs.
4-2 record, making the playoffs. Excuse me. Yes. If they go to 5-2 in 2 weeks versus Washington, that then moves up to
72.
You guys, real quick.
77%.
Yeah, you guys, real quick. I just want to show you guys something real quick. Tell me this is not awesome. When I read this today, I was like, yes, awesome. This is the Bears Pro Football Focus offensive scores, and this is the way that you expect it to be. This is what the players have, what the positions they were drafted in, added for, whatever. The guys. Caleb Williams led the team with an 87.9 Pro Football Focus rating. Second place was Darnell Wright. Third, Keenan Allen. 4, Tevin Jenkins. 5, Cole Kmet. 6, Braxton Jones. 7, Matt Pryor. 8, Coleman Shelton, Roma Dunze, and DJ Moore. Those are your top Pro Football Focus. So you don't want to see, like, I can't stand when people are like, yeah.
Why does DeAndre Swift get shitted on by PFF?
I don't know, man. They don't like him. They don't like.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't think
He always seems to have a huge game, and they give him like a 60
DeAndre
rating.
Swift does struggle in pass protection. So when you guys say like he sacrificed his body and got run over by a linebacker, we're like, that's awesome, and to give Caleb another second. PFF is probably like, yeah, but you got ran over by the linebacker.
Yeah, it's
Did
a
you guys
loss.
Did you guys know Braxton Jones had like 121 snaps in a row without a sack?
Braxton Jones has played really well the last couple of games.
That's like 3 games.
I've been
worth of
touting him
sacks.
for the last
What?
couple of years, but everyone's
Yeah,
telling
but
me
let's talk about the fact that out of 121 of those, like fucking 40 of them were pressures because he was getting
Oh, hey,
bullied into
by
fucking
the
Caleb
way,
Williams'
hey,
lap.
But
Caleb Williams-
how about you guys? How about Darnell Wright
being?
being? How about Darnell Wright being their second best player on offense? That's awesome. He was the first pick. He was a first round pick.
You see,
He
like
should
what-
be their
what
second best player
Ryan
on offense.
Poles' image is.
Yes,
And
Sean,
you even
that's
got
what
some
it's
Ryan
supposed to
Pace.
look like.
You even got some
Sean, go
Ryan
ahead.
Pace in there.
Sean,
with
go
Cole
Tevin
ahead.
Kmet.
Jenkins, yeah, Tevin Jenkins.
yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, didn't someone say Ray Davis sucked a little bit ago?
Ray
I don't know
Davis
who
is
it
a
was.
good football player,
I
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
Brandon
6
did.
carries for 48 yards. He's averaging 8 yards a carry. He's
Okay,
You
he can
want to
prove
talk
me
about
wrong.
pass protection? Ray Davis is amazing in pass protection.
He can prove
he's
me
a
wrong.
good football player, man.
Yeah,
But-
he is.
Oh, God damn it. I was just.
Like
How's
Ray
Frank Gore Jr. doing?
Who?
Frank Gore Jr. Does he have a carry?
Frank Gore, Ty Johnson has 1, Josh Allen has 1 for a touchdown, and Ray Davis has 6 for 48 for
There
8
you go.
yards. They are destroying them. Ty Johnson has 1 carry.
Well, of
They
course.
actually have 8 carries for 61 yards. They're
This team
averaging
just,
7.5
this team
yards.
just fired their head coach, man.
Yeah, they're supposed to get the coaches like the new coach.
Writings on the wall. I think.
It's 7-3, and the Jets have the ball, guys. The Jets are winning this game. I bet the Jets.
But you want to know what? You want to know what,
This
Kyle?
isn't destruction.
It's been two
Yeah.
drives, and Brees Hall has 6 points. Woo!
Yeah, Brees Hall has 4 carries for 20 yards, and
He has one catch for 21.
catch for 21 yards. Yeah.
That's my best production in the last.
I
2
don't
weeks.
think that the Jets firing Saleh was a bad thing. I think it's a good thing for this team. I think they get better because of
Hey,
it.
let me ask you guys this. Over this Commanders Cardinals Patriots stretch, where do you think the Bears fall? Record.
Reno.
I'd say 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 makes sense to me.
2-1.
I'm going to go 3-0.
That Commanders game is going to be tough, guys.
The Commanders here, if they beat the Commanders, they're going to win because Arizona.
I think they go 3-0. I'm with you, Sean. I think they go 3-0.
I could see 3-0, but it's hard. It's hard to pick it. I mean, just based on the fact that it's you just have a bad game sometimes.
You
but
have 2 weeks to prepare for Washington.
Yeah, the Bears. I think the Bears win that.
All cylinders.
Yeah. No, fuck it. 3-0. Yeah, 3-0. Yeah, 3-0. You're right.
Dog shit. And the Patriots? Yep.
Yeah, no, the Bears are going to be 7-2 after that stretch, aren't they? They're going to be 7-2 after that stretch.
Kyle, which game do you think the Bears are going to lose?
I'll tell you guys right now. A lot of what
if you say Arizona, I'm a slap.
He's going to say Arizona. He picked
a lot of what I was thinking about Jaden Daniels was predicated on the fact that he really, to me personally, hadn't played anybody really that significant. He looked good against that Ravens defense. That Ravens defense is no scrub, guys. Listen, Brennan, like you said, they're terrible in their secondary. But like Dustin said, when you take away their run, which what the Commanders did not do, they did not run the ball. Jaden Daniels had like 7 carries for 20 yards or something like that. It becomes a different game. That becomes a different game. And he played well.
Jaden Daniels fares against the best. How do you think Jaden Daniels fares against the best secondary if they're all?
Well, we might not have the best secondary in the NFL next week. It could be. We could.
What if you do?
Kyler Gordon is not going to be playing 2 weeks.
Do you
think the Bears take the ball away from Jaden Daniels?
Yes.
The Bears are going to get turnovers. Yes.
Do you think the Commanders take the ball away?
Might be on a fumble.
Vernon, I said on Sunday to Sean. No. I said on Monday to Sean. On Wednesday, I told Sean, Caleb Williams is going to.
Sean, thank you, Sean.
Caleb Williams is going to throw a pick against. Caleb Williams is going to throw a pick against the Jaguars. Sean, did I say that? Did I say Caleb Williams is going to throw a pick against the Jaguars? Didn't I say that to you?
You did.
Yes, I did. Sean Brennan, they're the 32nd ranked pass defense in the NFL. Why would you have projected Caleb Williams to throw a pick to the Jaguars?
No, I'm asking
because he's a rookie.
And he makes
rookie mistakes.
Do you?
Yeah, he's going to do the same thing against the Commanders in the next game until he's not a rookie anymore. That's just Caleb Williams is going to do that from time to time, guys. It's going to happen.
Sean just said to start the show, are awful against the pass too.
Sean said to start the show that Caleb Williams is going to have a game with 1 touchdown and 2 picks.
And Kyle,
you never know.
It's going to be in the next 3 games.
In 12 quarters, in 12 quarters of football, he has 1 interception.
Here,
Brennan, he has 2 against the Colts and 1 against the Jaguars, and both of them are the bottom 5 teams secondary in the NFL. 2 against the Colts, 1 against the Jaguars. Bottom 5 secondaries in the NFL.
He has 1 interception in 12 quarters in 3 games of football. He has
Why does he have the interception against the Jaguars, Brennan? It was because the Jaguars are so amazing, or because Caleb Williams is a rookie? He made a rookie mistake.
He made a mistake.
Yeah, I did.
Is
Caleb Williams a rookie next week? Is he a rookie in 2 weeks? Is he a rookie in 3 weeks?
Which quarterback in that game do you think is more likely to make a mistake?
I think they're both going to make mistakes.
I think they're both just as likely to make mistakes, but I think the Bears secondary is worlds better than the Commanders secondary.
Yes, 100%.
And Jaden Daniels is going to have a much
100%.
tougher time throwing the ball than Caleb Williams will against their respective defenses.
I think Caleb Williams takes more risks than Jaden Daniels. I think
the Bears win that game because they have the best unit.
Let me ask you this question. Here, I'll ask you this question. Are the Bears going to score 3 touchdowns against the Washington?
At least.
Yes.
Okay. Is Washington going to score 3 touchdowns on the Bears?
No. 2.
There you go. The Bears are going to win that 2.
You guys are always hypothetical conversations. You guys get hypothetical conversation. It'll get like 15 minutes into the I'm like, this is like a whole new world you guys have created. I'm like, is he going to throw 3 touchdowns? Yes. For 237 yards and an interception. Yes. Like, dude, it's insane. God only knows what the Bears are going to do against the Commanders. I'm telling you guys right now, Caleb Williams is a rookie. He's awesome. He's amazing. I'm not putting him down in any way, shape, or form. I want him to make mistakes. I said that on the show 100 times. He's going to make mistakes. He's a
But what
rookie.
the hell are you
It's going
talking
to
about,
happen.
man?
That pass against
God
the
only
Jaguars
knows.
was unacceptable. It's going to happen
Yeah.
against teams like the Commanders. It's going to happen
really quick.
against teams like the
Kyle, you projected the
teams.
Jaguars to run all over the Bears.
hold on.
You project based off the stats you see, right?
Let me ask you a
sometimes
question.
it happens, sometimes they don't.
I'm not projecting the amount of throwing touchdowns, guys. Is he going to throw a touchdown? Yes. How many? I don't know.
No, he said, will the Bears score 3 touchdowns in that game? Yes, they will.
Well, he said the
against
Bears
that-
secondary. He said the Bears secondary or the Commanders secondary. So that'd be passing, not running.
He just asked if they're going to score 3 touchdowns in that game. And
Let me
yes,
ask
they
you,
will.
Kyle, let me ask you this question.
Against the
If
Washington
the Bears
Commanders
do,
secondary.
if the Bears do what they did
Secondary
against
is
the
awful.
Jaguars, if the Bears do what they did against the Jaguars, 29 pass, 29 rush, they average 5.2 yards per carry, like they did against the Jaguars, and Caleb Williams does Caleb Williams things. Do you think this team's losing to Washington in 2
This
weeks?
is what I'm talking about, guys. This
No,
is
just
what-
answer
listen,
that question.
I will.
This
Give me
is-
1 second. I will, real quick. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I said when I said, you guys, it's okay to have reservations just because they've beaten three of the worst teams in football at the time that they were playing them. It doesn't mean
Sure.
they're a great team. Now, I'm not saying the Bears aren't a good team. What I'm saying is I expect them to make mistakes and lose games, not because I think the Bears suck or because I'm a Bears fan and I've been scarred, and that's just because they're
Not
very
really,
young.
Hank Aaron, what
They're
up,
very
dude?
young. I
Hit that
also
like
this is the point I was making about the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. I understand that the Bears beat them and the Jacksonville Jaguars suck and they should have beat them, and I get all of it. Caleb Williams had a great game, but not every team drops 4 touchdowns in the end zone. That's what I'm
Okay,
telling you
Kyle.
guys.
Okay,
You're going to
but
play
you're saying-
teams that
you're
don't make as
saying-
many mistakes, and it's going to be a close game, and it's just going to be how maybe it's
Okay, but the Commanders are going to make
against the
mistakes
Colts.
too. Kyle,
strict-
do you
Yeah, and
to
you're,
win
you're,
the NFC East?
and you're totally
What?
stepping
Do
on
you
my whole.
expect the Commanders to win the NFC East? Do
And
you
you're
expect them to be
stepping-
the best, one of the best teams in the NFC when the season?
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
expect them
if
to win
they
the
did.
NFC East. I expect them.
I
To win the
don't.
NFC
I don't.
East.
The Eagles are going to come out of that division. When it's all said and done,
I
the
picked
Eagles
the
will be the team.
I picked the Eagles to
we
begin
thought
with.
they were
Well,
gonna
Kyle, you're stepping over my.
The Commanders
shit
are going to make
because
mistakes too.
You're saying I expect the Bears to
I'm not
lose some games
stepping
because
over
they make
anybody's shit,
mistakes. You said I expect the Bears to lose some games because they make mistakes. Like that's what people were like when Dustin said. Everybody wants the Bears to win this game against the Jaguars. Every person is picking it. That scares the shit out of me. This is what I'm saying is I don't think they're that team anymore. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
Vernon, I understand.
I think
that, but
think
you guys,
moving
it's
forward,
also
they're going to be
to
a
just say,
clean,
say,
a clean
first of all,
football team.
I want to see the Bears win on the road. That's one thing I want to see. I'd like to see that.
Whoa.
Hey, we got one. How's Caleb a fraud? Let's hear it, man. I mean, he just had the 4 touchdown game. We were
Sean,
waiting.
what's the Bears record in their last 10 games on the road? What's their win-loss record? The last 10 games on
That's
the road.
not really Hank Aaron.
No
Looking
fraud.
pretty good. Looking pretty
No
good. He's
fraud.
played some bad teams. We've discussed that. We've given it context, but
The
Caleb
Bears
is performing
the
very
Bears
well.
don't know the Bears' road record, but I don't
It's not
really
good.
consider.
Not good.
Listen, I don't really consider what the Bears did.
But what Brandon is saying, man, is that you
halfway
can't.
through the year to mean very much. They were in a complete rebuild.
Yeah, we can't look at last year with Flus and
Yeah, but
bring that
you
in
guys,
position.
you guys, Vernon said this
Yeah.
earlier on the podcast. You can't change, pick and choose. Sean, you said you expect them to lose to the NFC North because they haven't beaten the NFC North, but now you're telling me it's only because they were a shitty team for the last 3 years. It has nothing to do with the NFC North and Matt Eberflus or anything
Kyle,
else.
We're a
I'm
shitty
saying the
team.
same shit about them winning on the road. They don't win on the road.
The Bears did a complete
No,
rebuild, dude.
Sean
You
said
can't
Sean
go
was
for the
no
last
Kyle.
couple
Sean
years.
said that he wants to see the Bears win in the NFC North.
And I want to
before he
see the
gives
Bears
Flus
win on the
credit.
road. I want to see them win on the road because they don't do it a lot. So I think it's justifiable for a Bears fan to go, hey, I want to see them do the same thing
They
they've
just
been
went
doing.
to London and beat the shit out of the Jaguars.
Still a home game and the Jaguars. You guys,
That's
London's
not a
their
home game. I'm sorry.
You guys,
Don't
London's
call it
not
a-
their home, Dustin.
They're
It's not a home
0-2
game for
on the
anybody.
road.
You guys want to know what it says on the schedule, the little schedule? You know what it says on that game? It doesn't say
No,
it. It
not
says
really. Hank
neutral.
Aaron. It's
It
4
says
and
neutral.
16, isn't it?
It says
4
neutral.
and 16. The record of the Bears' last 3 opponents 4 and 16.
But
Not
you
4
guys,
and
for
18.
I think for Bears fans to say, for me as a Bears fan to go, like there's a reason that guy said I was the voice of reason. For me to say that I don't expect the Bears to win 5 games in a row, and I expect them to lose a game they're supposed to win. They're rookie. Caleb Williams is a rookie. They're going to make rookie mistakes. Their offensive line is going to be exposed again. This is not the best offensive line in
actually
football.
be-
It's
Not
not the
against this
offensive line you
Commanders
think it is.
It would
It's
actually
not
be
the
Yeah,
offensive line you think it is.
Kyle.
It's not the offensive line you think it is. It's not. It's not as good as you think it is. And the 4 sacks are going to bite Caleb Williams in the ass
Nah,
at some
Brandon
point. They already
Johnson
did against the
here.
Colts. The,
No, we
the
don't-
Bears could.
we don't-
You guys, should the Bears
we
beat
don't
the
play like
Colts?
that.
Could the Bears beat the
Who
Colts?
the fuck
another
is
3
Brandon
games?
Johnson? What's that mean?
The Illinois mayor, I believe, or
Yeah.
governor.
He's a
You
mayor.
guys- you guys-
He's a clown.
Kyle, you
Oh,
never answered the
Chicago, the
question.
mayor of Chicago, right?
You
Yeah.
never answer my
Yeah.
question, bro.
What's your question?
If the Bears go 29 rushes, 29 passes, average 5.2 yards a carry, and Caleb Williams does Caleb Williams things, you think they lose to Washington? Mind you, you have
I'm not-
Jalen Johnson who will be covering Terry McLaurin. Who else do they got?
Sean, I think Jalen Daniels is going to score points. Yes, I think he's going to score points on the Bears. I think they're going to score
Kyle,
points.
Did you guys
hold
hear
on,
that
hold on,
Caleb
Kyle.
called them the Redskins?
Kyle,
Caleb
Are-
called their
Are
Commanders
the
the
I
Bears
Redskins.
still do
are,
too.
are the
Yeah.
Bears for real?
The Bears are legit.
What do you mean when you say for real? Like Super Bowl winners?
Are
Playoff
they
contenders.
are they one of the better teams in the NFL? The entire
In
NFL.
the NFC, yes, they are one of the better teams. One of the better teams.
They're
in the
playing
The
NFC.
NFC
football.
is the better division, the better conference in football.
Because to
right?
me,
Could they
guys,
beat Baltimore or Kansas City right now? No.
Sean
No,
just
absolutely
Sean
not.
just Sean
Not a
made the
chance
best
in hell.
point. Sean made the best point of the show because to me, if you score 10 touchdowns in 2 games and you allow less than 21 points a game, you're fucking legit. So do you think this team, like, and
Depending
when I
on
say
who you're
legit,
playing,
I
yes,
mean, like,
depending on who you're playing.
they're gonna hammer people. Do you think that's the team this is?
Hammer people?
Yeah.
I think the Bears are going to be 10-7 or 11-6. That's what I think the Bears are going to be.
And it's
So
going
when
to
they-
really come
so-
down to
So you
the
think
NFC
in 11
North
and
competition.
16, so in 11-16, the remainder of the Bears schedule, you have the Bears finishing 11-6, so you'll have them only losing 2 more games. Where are the fucking losses? On the
Only losing
Commanders
2 more
game?
games. What are you talking about, dude?
Well,
Or
that's
4 more
games.
games. 4
Yeah.
more games. Is the Commanders one of the losses?
Please God, make it the Commanders and not the NFC North. Please God, beat the shit out of the NFC North and lose to the
How
fucking
about none of
Commanders.
them?
Please God, please. If you're gonna give me 4 more losses, don't give me them in the NFC North for the love of God and all His holy. Because I'm so sick
they're
of
gonna
Packers
come in the
fans
NFC
and Lions
North,
fans
guys.
and Vikings fans. Beat
Kyle.
the shit out of the NFC North.
Okay, but we can't talk about how good the NFC North is
guys,
and how
so
and then expect the Bears to just sweep the
So,
NFC
so you guys
North.
are so when you guys are saying the 4 losses come late in the season. You're saying so they go 2-4 against the NFC North. Is that your projection?
I don't think the
No,
Bears.
no,
are
3-3 and a loss to the
Minnesota?
Niners, probably 3-3 and a loss to the Niners.
Yeah, I
they
don't think the
split.
Bears are going to win in Minnesota. I don't think they're going to beat San
Well,
Francisco.
let me ask all 3 of you this.
Probably lose
Are
in
the Bears,
Detroit
hold
as
on,
well.
let
That's
me-
3.
Let me ask
Yeah,
you
3-3
this.
in the NFC North and a loss.
Let me
to
ask you
San Fran.
this. Hold on.
That's what I
Let me
see.
ask you this. They play the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Patriots next. By the time the Bears play the Packers, are we seeing the Bears team that's going to play the Packers right now?
That's the goal. That's the goal, right? That
No,
this
I don't know
Bears
that
team
yet.
gets
I don't
better
know.
every week.
I'd like to
and
see them
gets
play an
prepared
opponent
for
that's
this
not
higher
absolute
level
thin air.
competition.
I like them to play an
They
opponent
should
that
go
doesn't look
3-0
like it's
against these shitty
practice.
teams.
That's what I
They
want.
should.
And you know what, man? The Commanders just played a good team. The Baltimore Ravens are one of the, if not the best team in football, the second best team in football. And the Commanders
Okay,
gave them a
Kyle,
fight.
Kyle,
The
let me-
Bears
let
are
me
not the
ask
best
you
team in
this. Let me-
football.
Kyle, hold
They're
on.
going
Let
to
me
give the
ask you
Bears a
this.
fight.
Oh, let me ask you this.
But every
If the
game is
Bears
its own
win 3
entity, and the
straight,
Bears
if the Bears
muddy,
win,
can muddy up a game.
Hold on.
if
Wait
the
a minute.
Bears win 6 straight, if they win these next 3 and win 6 straight, how do you feel about the Bears against the Packers then?
If the Bears win 6 straight,
Yeah.
the Bears are the best team in the NFC.
That's
And they're gonna
okay.
beat the Packers.
That's all I want to know.
No doubt about
That's
it.
all
You
I
know why
wanted to hear.
No doubt about
It's
it.
like at
Washington
what
and
point do
Okay, so
you
if they
think
win
Bears-
these next 3, then
Yeah.
they're the best team in the NFC in your mind.
Yes, in my mind, they
You
are
know
the
why
best team. They
Washington
are
didn't
legit.
win?
Caleb Williams is everything you think he is. He's well beyond his years as a rookie. He's going to be a contender
He
for a
already
Super
is.
Bowl
Guys,
run this year if he wins
We
6 in a row.
talked
Yes.
about you
Yes.
guys were talking about this before we got on. Jordan Love makes some stupid boneheaded decisions with the football. He had a Will Levis like interception for a touchdown
It's
against
my
the
favorite
Rams.
pass of the year, by the way.
So I mean, you go into that game and you get enough pressure on him, and your secondary is healthy. Jordan Love is going to give you the ball.
Can I say
He
this?
will give you the ball.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Jordan Love's played, 4 games? Caleb Williams played 6. Jordan Love has 6 interceptions. Caleb Williams has 5. He's played 2 less games.
You guys, there's
Jordan
more
Love
Caleb
can
Williams.
suck it.
There's more Caleb
hope there's
Williams
a
than
Packers
interceptions
fan
coming.
listening.
There's more coming. There's more
Oh,
coming.
for sure. I mean, listen, he's got 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions right now.
Yeah. It's
mean,
not like, he's not on
I
pace
think
for 38
24
touchdowns.
touchdowns and
36.
16 interceptions is
That's a great season. That's
a
a
good
great
rookie season.
That's
Yeah.
a great
He had a
season.
good
I'm
year
not,
last
I'm
year.
not taking anything away from that, but I think some Bears fans are thinking like he's going to throw for 36 touchdowns
Wait,
and 9
Justin,
picks.
did you say
That's just not him. Not
16
yet. Not yet.
interceptions?
Next year. Next year,
I
yes.
didn't say that that's what I'm projecting for Caleb, but I said if that's
said
what
that's-
he does, that's
that's a
not
good
an
season.
awful rookie season, bro.
He's
It's
gonna
not.
have like 10
It's-
interceptions.
Here, no, let's put that in context, though,
Well,
Brandon.
he's already
because
got
this Bears
5.
football
He's
team,
averaging 1 a game.
I know, Kyle, and
Guys.
I'm standing. That's why I'm standing firm. He's gonna have like
okay, but
10
Brandon,
interceptions.
if he has 16 interceptions, but this Bears football team has fucking 35 interceptions and 5 to 8 fumble recoveries,
I get what
now
you're
you're
saying.
still
What do
winning
you,
the turnover
Justin,
battle.
But what do you
You win
think?
the game.
What do you think he's gonna have?
It's tough. I don't have that off the top of my head,
I don't know,
man.
man.
I mean, from what I've seen so far, what I just said is kind of where he's on the path to be. That just if you extrapolate everything and stretch it out over the full season, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. So 24-16 is a reasonable expectation, and I don't think that means that the Bears lose because he throws 16 interceptions, because the Bears turn the ball over at a high rate themselves. So it doesn't lose you a game.
Can I say this too, Brandon? Because we talked about this earlier, and you talked about Jordan Love's season last year. The average passing yards per game is 240. Over 17 games, that works out to be like 4,080 yards. Jordan Love did what every quarterback in the NFL should be able to do. He threw for 4,100 yards. Yes, he had 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, finished with a 98 rating.
There down.
What he did last year is what an NFL starting quarterback should do based on the numbers.
Season starting?
And the average passing per game right now, I just looked it up in Next Gen Stats, is 240 passing yards a game. 240 times 17 is 4,000.
Yeah, but Sean, if you go Googling how many quarterbacks.
No. You said he did something so extraordinary passing for 4,000 yards last year. He did what an NFL quarterback is supposed to do.
Sean, go
it wasn't
Google,
that great.
Sean, go Google how many times a quarterback reaches the average in their first season starting in the league.
Doesn't matter.
Probably
he
never.
was in the league for 4 years. He had time to learn. He wasn't a rookie coming into the league. There's a big difference.
I just don't. You said the words you said to me, man, where that season was not impressive. I don't know how you can say that.
Last year, Sean, the average is misleading. Sean, the average is, if you're talking about average per game, that's misleading.
I can only go off what the average is and what they say it is.
No, that's you're taking the highest level quarterbacks and those stats are inflating everything.
So Dustin, you're telling me that 4,000 yards isn't the standard for a quarterback?
10 quarterbacks last year had 4,000 yards. So that's the standard?
Yeah,
10 out of 32?
Quarterback play in the NFL, isn't there?
10 out of 32. Okay, so then what's the standard? If there's shitty quarterback play, how's the standard 4,000-yard passing for every quarterback in the NFL?
You also didn't have Joe Burrow last year. You had Jake Browning, who in Jake Browning's time threw for almost 2,000 yards, and he played limited time.
Sean, the Packers were tied. The Packers were tied for the best record over the final 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, how'd that work out? How'd that work out for him? How'd their season end, by the way?
Do you think the way Jordan Love, Jordan Love's 24 touchdowns and I think it was 3 interceptions over that stretch?
I think he's talking about more specifically the play that ended it.
How much do you think that had to do with them getting to the playoffs? The way Jordan Love finished the season.
Yeah, I agree, MS. I agree 100%.
All I've ever said about Jordan Love is he's going to be good enough to break your heart. And what did he do to Packers fans last year? He threw a terrible pass.
It was his first year as a starter. Did you expect him to win the Super Bowl?
You guys, let's not. I'm not trying to like.
This is deteriorating.
You guys, this podcast has been one of our.
We're out of here. Hold on.
Yeah, let's get our.
It's been fun, Kyle. What are you, the time police or something?
No, but I mean,
it's been great.
2 hours is.
Hey. By the way,
we got people in here commenting.
We have our guys. Kyle and I will be back on Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We're going to have some fun. We're going to go around the NFL. We'll chop up some fantasy, some bets, and do some stuff for the bare minimum on Thursday after the Thursday night game. Guys, join in. We have these guys jumping on CSP next, Chicago Sports Podcast. You guys jumping over there next?
I mean, I haven't heard anything. We'll see.
So maybe not tonight.
I haven't seen a show yet, so
the Bears are 4-2, and I'm pretty happy about this. And you know what? I don't kill me, Brandon. But Jordan Love can still kiss my.
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit, fuck Green Bay.
All right, yeah, right. Let's go.
Oh, guys, we just got Brewhaw in the building. He's one of our best commenters. We can go another hour, right? You guys got another hour in you. We'll be okay.
I mean, I got nothing to do.
Kyle, you want to watch that Jets-Bills game? The Jets are winning, by the way, 10-7.
Yeah,
the Jets are winning.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson just got a touch.
What's going on, Brewhaw?
I bet the Jets as well.
What's going on, Brewhaw?
As well.
Yeah, I bet on the Jets. I bet the
Jets.
I
honestly, I don't think there's absolutely a shot in hell.
Brewhaw, who wins the Bears Commanders game? Who wins?
I don't think there's a shot in hell that Josh Allen didn't have a concussion. And that
Better yet, what's
They gave us
you're
What's
probably
the
right
record?
about that, Kevin.
what's their record over the next 3 games against the Cardinals, the Commanders, and the
3
Patriots?
and 0. 3
What's-
and 0. Listen, the Bears are gonna get a good week of health here, hopefully, where they can get everybody back healthy. We were talking about how lucky they've been with health, but now they're starting to, when they're going up against teams, it seems like key players seem to be always out when the Bears play them so far. So hopefully the Bears can get their guys back, because
the
that's
Commanders
going to be
just lost
important.
their best defender.
I don't think you guys. I do not believe Kyler Gordon's going to play in 2 weeks. I don't know. He literally
Hamstring.
crawled
Kyle,
on
I'm
his
with
hands
you.
and knees off the field, guys. That was rough. He crawled on his hands and knees. He didn't like limp. He didn't stay.
James
he crawled
Conner
out of
too,
his
man.
helmet.
James Conner
crawled.
hopped off the field on one leg.
But
Let's just hold. Maybe it was a really bad cramp, but they
3-0.
rolled them out.
Brewhouse says Bears over Washington 27-18, 3-0 in that stretch. I like
you
it.
guys,
I'm with you.
I hope they are. I think they're going to lose one of those games. That's just me personally. I think
Nice,
one of those games
Brewhouse.
is going to lose.
Hey,
We're with you.
let me ask you this, because Brandon, you brought this up. We were on the phone or text or somewhere. I can't remember. Outside of the '83 draft, they had Elway, Blackledge, Kelly, Eason, O'Brien, and Marino. Could this be the best quarterback class? Now, if you go to 2020, 2020 had Burrow, Herbert, Tua, Jalen Hurts. You think this class is better than 2020?
Definitely, 100%. 100%.
Definitely.
100% better than the 2020 class. I don't know about Elway, Marino, and Kelly in the same draft.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Sean,
that's tough.
You're talking
No,
about
I said outside of the
like
83 draft.
150 playoff wins.
Sean,
No, I
what's-
think
between
the
the
83
three of
draft
those
is the
guys.
best quarterback draft. in
Sean,
the
what was the Jordan Love draft? Was that it?
Jordan Love was Jordan
That was
Love
the same
was
draft.
he was in the same
2020,
draft
Jalen
with Tua,
Hurts, Joe Burrow.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I mean,
Those
that's
were
tough
rounders, too.
competition, guys. 2020 is tough competition. I mean, how do you quantify that 6 games into the season?
You
I
have
can't.
to wait.
I can't. Right now,
Well-
Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl, guys. Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl, guys. Caleb Williams has played 6 games. Jaden Daniels has played 6
You
games.
got a
and apparently
point.
he's
You
the
got a
best thing
point. The
since sliced bread.
Super Bowls are a lot to show. That's hard to catch up to. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, let's pump the brakes on comparing them to that class. And now you're talking about Jordan Love stepping into that role too, as a playoff contending quarterback. I mean, there's some successful guys coming.
All right,
out
how
of that
about
class.
this? 04, Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger.
No.
A lot of Super Bowls
Well,
in there.
I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Peyton Manning,
Drake-
Peyton Manning
listen,
picks that
I
class
guess
up a lot.
Jaden Daniels,
Eli
and Caleb
Manning.
Williams.
Eli Manning.
Eli.
it's Eli.
Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams
That's
are good
not
players.
comparable.
We can
That's
say
not
that
even
for
close.
sure. If Drake May and Mike, we would have to wait
4
till
years
Michael
ago, he would have
Penix.
said 2-1.
We would have to. We would have to wait till Michael Penix plays some football, because if Michael Penix, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb are all like playoff quarterbacks, then yeah, it is for sure.
I wouldn't give up on Bo Nix either yet. Not just yet. I'd
Bo
give him
Nix,
a-
Spencer Rattler is actually my next favorite. Like, honestly,
Spencer Rattler looked good.
Spencer Rattler was my 4th best quarterback in this draft class,
Yeah.
over
I just-
Nix and
Dude,
Penix.
are you saying look good as like a rookie, or are you saying like he just looked?
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, he didn't look great. He had a rough game.
Good. Let's talk about good.
but his statistics were comparable to like their entire career, Justin Fields, because he ran for a touchdown, threw a
Were you
touchdown.
talking about Rattler?
Yeah,
I think I have their debuts in here. Hold on.
He
ran
only threw
for-
for 140 yards and a touchdown.
yeah, and he ran for a touchdown too.
Oh, 243 yards. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
off by 100
243.
yards.
Him and May both had 243 in their debuts, man. 4 rushes, 27, 5 for 38.
Guys, I
Rattler
don't
had a
think Drake
rushing
May is a
touchdown.
good quarterback. I don't think Drake May is a good quarterback. I don't see it. We'll see how it goes, but I don't know about
I
this.
don't mind Drake May, man. I really don't.
I don't pay him
Oh,
any mind.
wait,
one
hold
way or
on.
the
I
other.
said Drake May, Caleb Daniels, and Penix. McCarthy still has to play football too. man.
McCarthy is gonna suck as well. I'm not.
McCarthy
McCarthy and May. I
I
am
mean,
not high
Sean,
on.
I guess the question is, how many times do you have 5 quarterbacks, 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first round? Right?
Well, it's never happened.
2020, there was 5.
Yeah, this was the most. This was the most
Yeah.
in draft history this year. It was the most offensive skill players drafted in the first round of any draft ever this year. So I mean, there's a reason that that whether it's the way the NFL is trending and or if those guys were actually talented enough. Like Michael Penix, I don't think was talented enough to get
Hey,
drafted.
Bruja, thanks for being with us, man, especially on Thanksgiving Day in Canada. Man.
Hey, Bruja, thanks, buddy.
You're getting yelled at for
Thanks,
sure,
Bruja.
bud. We appreciate
That is
that. Man.
so
We
weird.
appreciate
Yeah,
the
thanks
sacrifice.
for giving us your time.
My girl was
Thanksgiving
destroying
Day
me.
here in Canada. What do you guys hold on, Bruja? Before you go, what's do you guys do turkey for Thanksgiving in October? Is it turkey and like cranberry sauce and is that like your main
Is
meal?
it the works?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows what the cliche American.
I'm asking, is that what Canada is, or do they do like a fucking goose or something? I don't know. I'm just
I know, but I felt like you were about to list like and the cranberry
mashed potatoes?
in the mashed.
You
have
do
all
you guys
that?
make biscuits?
corn. Do you guys do corn? Do you have corn in Canada?
Ham as a substitute in case people don't like turkey.
Seriously, what's the main course? I just want to know, Brew. If he left already, that sucks. But I just want to know what the main course is for Canadian Thanksgiving. If it's the same or if it's like Bizarro World. Dennis Moody says Jaden and Drake will struggle against the defense, against this defense. Turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, cranberry. All right. That's Ant Master. Are you in Canada too, bro? Turkey and prime rib. Hell yeah, man. Love the prime rib.
Prime
For,
rib.
Prime
I'm
rib.
going to Canada.
Little
Christmas.
Little horseradish Dijon, like horseradish sauce.
Jesus
Dude.
Christ,
Yeah,
dude.
prime rib
I'm
is,
getting
that is where
hungry.
it's at, man. And yeah, he says, yeah, ham and corn.
They have corn in Canada. Breaking news.
That's now I want a Thanksgiving dinner. So
Aunt
bad.
Mouse is Canada.
Aunt Mouse is in Canada too. We do turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yes, Canada. Yeah.
Canadian Bears fans, I love it.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hey, you guys know,
Fucking Thanksgiving Day.
Caleb
Wow.
Williams now has the best record of any number one overall draft pick through 6 games, right?
It's not
Or
surprising.
Well, number one pick. I was gonna say, well, Jane Daniels is
number one
number
overall
one.
pick.
Yeah,
Number one overall pick.
yeah, that's awesome. Listen, I'm not. If the Bears beat all three of these teams, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't. Be
Kyle,
like,
you don't
oh,
want to change your pick right now?
No, I can't believe the Bears beat the
You're
Commanders, the
sure you wanna go
Patriots,
2-1?
the Cardinals.
Everybody's doing it.
But I
Fried
expect there
turkey
to
in the
be.
South for Dennis.
I expect there to be
Moody, man.
more
Careful with that
mistakes.
shit.
I don't like the Bears.
Fried
offensive
turkey,
line.
baby. Hell yeah.
I don't
Sorry,
like the Bears
Kyle, go on.
offensive line, even now, even after the way they've played these last 2 games, where you guys can't even name their defensive linemen on the opposing team.
Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, Joshua Hines Allen. I mean, like
Hold on,
the
really
Jaguars had a good pass
Yeah,
rush.
that's a bad argument, man.
Joshua
The
Hines Allen
Jaguars
has not
have
been
a
having a
Hey,
good
solid
hey, Brandon, what's
not been having a good season.
what's
He's
our
been
time
having a
limit?
terrible
90
season.
seconds?
They talked about
Yeah.
that on the podcast.
Bears
They
are
talked
the
about it.
world's team.
Sean,
This
you got
is
the video of Caleb doing the bat?
Justin,
No,
Dustin, they talked about how bad Hines has played
What?
this year on
I
that.
want to know. I want to know what.
Yeah, but
Armstead-
he's still
play.
a player, man. He's
That's
still
fine, but if he's not
Can't
playing
hear you,
well, then
Sean.
you can't be like, oh, they dominated, they
well,
stopped.
yeah,
That's the
offenses
best
are
rusher in
going to
football.
key against him, no
Hey
doubt.
guys, hold on.
He is their
Sean's
best
playing
passer.
something.
Bears
Sean's
Yeah,
playing
offensive
something.
line is not a top 10 unit.
I want you guys
Can
to
we
tell
do
me what happened
commentary on this, or is
Armstead
it
on
just?
this. I don't know.
is it muting
I
us?
don't remember.
Troubled is left. Now he keeps it again. He's got a lot of room. Williams inside the.
What kind of?
Yeah, what are you watching?
That was Eric Armstead, dude, trying to get after Caleb Williams, dude.
Yeah, well, why don't you show the one where the guy touched Caleb Williams with his pinky and Caleb Williams did like he made like a new dance.
There wasn't a lot of highlights out today,
That
and
was
I didn't go.
that was the goofiest way I've ever seen.
I
a quarterback
asked you in
fall
the
in my
text thread to get a video of Caleb Williams doing the bat swing.
Why get your own fucking video,
I
Brandon?
didn't
You can
do that.
upload a video.
You know what, Dustin? You should have brought the video. How about that?
I mean, we can all upload the video. We have the capabilities.
life. All right.
I can't do it.
Do you guys want to talk anything else, Bears, before I get out of here? I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, man. I don't know. I was having fun. The Canadian Thanksgiving thing was pretty cool.
I don't know. I'm gonna get yelled at here pretty soon.
Without Jonathan Allen pressure in the middle, Caleb is going to eat them alive. Hell yeah, Dennis Moody. Eat them like you eat that fried turkey on Thanksgiving, bro. That's how Caleb's going to go after that.
I
defense.
agree with you, Moody. I agree with you.
All right, Kyle's going to get yelled at, everybody.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe. Bruja, Ant Mass.
Dennis Moody.
Moody,
Who else do
yeah.
we have? Gianfranco Paoletti. Breaking News Bruce.
Zach.
We had Stephanie in here. VVV Jiggy.
Zach.
Vinny, what up? Not really Hank Aaron, Caleb Williams troll, but we want to hear from you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Zach Lipsy. Zach Lipsy brought some great comments today. So we
Darius.
appreciate everybody.
Yeah, Zach, crush it.
Darius. Yeah, that's right. Darius was in here too, man.
Yeah, McCoy. Man, thank you guys all so much. We really appreciate you guys more than you know.
Like
don't forget,
and subscribe.
Yep, Wednesday, Kyle and I'll hit it back. Dustin and Brando will run it back on a bare minimum on Thursday. Kyle, we got to work on a name for our show so we can start calling it something.
Yeah, I told you to do that like months ago.
I know, I've been thinking.
So did I.
You said months. Very weird.
Months ago. Beauty. Brewhouse
Months
says it was
ago.
a beauty.
Cool.
Thank you, Brewhouse.
No, this was a fun show, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Bears are 4-2, 67% chance to make the playoffs as we leave the air. We'll watch Washington. We'll watch the rest of the NFC North beat up on each other while we have.
Oh,
nice
I believe the Bear after the Washington won that game and went 4-2. The Bears, as of today, have the hardest remaining schedule. So.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we talked about this earlier. I looked up the advanced line. The advanced line is the Bears -2.5 in 2 weeks versus Washington. So
that's
right
kind of that makes me a little nervous. But that's cool that we got that kind of hype. But we're on the road.
Yeah, we're on the road. The Bears are 2.5 point favorites. We'll see where that changes. We'll see where that changes.
The Bears defense is
It's the best unit. Listen, I'm just saying the odds makers don't generally make two teams that are 4-2. They make the visiting team the favorite in that game. That's not
Bears defense is a nightmare for a rookie quarterback, dude.
See if it comes up.
It's kind of tight, but no, we're good, man.
You guys, also, I think that personally,
I see it. Yes,
you could say I'm just trying to mean. I think ultimately depends on what defense you got, Brennan. If you're missing Stevenson and Gordon again, it's a different game, different football game, man.
I don't think Rich Grant Stevenson
permitting everybody's healthy. That's how I project. If the defense is at full strength, they're going to be too much for a rookie quarterback, man. It's the one thing, like Dustin said.
We had such a good ending, guys.
Dustin said the best unit on the field is the Bears defense. That's the difference. Caleb's not facing the Bears defense. That's the difference.
Yes, the Bears defense is the best unit on the field. We will talk more about it in the coming weeks, guys, leading up to this Washington Commanders Bears showdown, the number 1 versus the number 2 pick. Please join us for that. Like Sean said, Wednesday for their show, Thursday for me and Brandon's show, the Bare Minimum, and we'll be here with you every Monday. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Bear down.
Bear down. Peace.